Yeah, give it a second, guys. It's gonna refresh. Thanks for bearing with us. You know, this is our first time doing this in this kind of setup, so we're fairly new at it. But you know, we're giving it the good old college try, as they say. I'm 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 a big dork. That's for sure. Are you all seeing us?
I think. Hold on. I'm trying to see. I'm also testing it. So keep in mind, this is our first time doing this outside, so the bit rate's going to be a little bit choppy at first. It should auto filter. It looks like it keeps sticking. So I'm trying to figure that out along the way. So this is a learning curve for all of us right now. Also, I'm sitting in front of the fire because of the lens flare that goes right in front of your faces. That was another difficulty we had. We had it to where it wasn't working. It's really jumping right now on the bit rate. Like, look.
Yeah.
So
it'll catch up.
It should catch up.
It took like a minute and a half the last time I watched your live stream, but it wound up catching up eventually.
Okay. And I know that sound is pretty live. Yeah, look. It's really jumping right now on the bit rate. Like, look.
Wow.
Yeah. Are we happy with the sound quality?
I mean, we're gonna have to be.
Okay, I don't think we have to yell. I think that's our problem. We were yelling because the camera's all the way over there, but the mic's right here. So we're like, guys, when the mic's right here.
Yeah. By the way, there's this thing right here in the middle. We're not sure how to get rid of that yet, so I'm sorry if that bothers you.
Yeah, the little eyeball up top. It shows that it's a night vision for our night vision camera. So when you see the bitrate drop, it's fixing. We're on right now. We're actually on like I think like 120 megabytes right now per second for internet. So I don't think it's that. I think it's the streaming provider. This is our first time, my first time ever using Streamlabs. So I'm excited to test that out. That's what that box is in the corner over there. What that is that is the chat box, so you can see your chat live. We can see your chat. We do have a what?
Sorry, you said that's what that box is in the corner over there, and I looked.
Like, there's a box?
I was like, what box? I was waiting to see a box pop up.
We do have something I'm going to put in the description soon. We do have donations actually working right now as well with Streamlabs, which is streamlabs.com/Zodiac Supernatural Investigators. I'm going to put that on here while we're talking here soon. So you can just click on it, and if you want to donate to us, you can. Those donations will actually go 100% to either equipment or funding for the Zodiac. So keep that in mind. That was the dog.
Bailey.
Another thing, when we were starting to set up, we literally just finally figured out what the problem was. So the technical difficulties was we got our setup done. We were done since 10:30. Problem is that it wasn't showing up. We went live like 3 times. We're like, why isn't it working? Apparently it was set to private. So we're like, it's not working. And as soon as we fixed it, boom. That's why you saw it jump a few times. So we're going to have to clean that up later. Again, this is our first time doing this. We do already have some commenters on here, so let's go ahead and say hey to them. A Gray Phantom, welcome. Hopefully you get some spooples tonight.
Hey, I saw you earlier on the thing.
On TikTok?
I think it was TikTok, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Thank you for coming up here. We're going to try and like change some settings around in the meantime to clear it up, make it sound better and look better for you all. Hello. Let's see. A Gray Phantom. Take your time, fellas. What are you drinking? I wish it was alcohol, but apparently you can't really do that on live streams right now, so I'm doing Red Bull instead. So Red Bull, if you watch us at all, you know, we're exciting and adventurous and full of adrenaline that we like to go ghost hunting at night in very haunted places, so sponsor us, Red Bull.
I'm drinking Red Bull too. Don't tell anyone who knows me. I'm supposed to be on a diet, and it's not sugar-free Red Bull.
Hi, Chrissy Watson. How are you? I can see you guys just fine. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. We're going to be nervous about this for a long time. Is the thing in the middle a ghost?
Why not?
It can be. That little eyeball. Actually, it's a little night eye. So we'll say it's a night in the sky. So yeah, it can be a ghost. Actually, that's our character now.
It's a remnant left over from the camera brought into the live stream. So it's the ghost in the stream. It's ghost in the stream.
Ghost in the stream.
That works for me.
I like it. Ghost in the stream.
I feel more and more stupid every time I open my mouth.
Instagram. We saw a great Phantom on Instagram,
It was
not TikTok.
Instagram. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for coming over from Instagram. We really appreciate it. Actually, we appreciate anyone who came over from TikTok and Instagram. It means a lot to us that you guys went the journey over. We're trying to do more on YouTube right now, and actually we have a lot of projects coming through, which we'll go into later. But that's why we haven't really been posting a lot on Instagram or TikTok. We've been focusing on these projects. We got a couple things we'll announce a little bit later that you've been working on. You know, the thing. The thing.
Yeah, the thing.
So we'll be doing that.
Are you ready to announce that?
I mean, announce that it's getting ready.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not like produced yet, but it's getting ready.
As long as they understand.
Yeah. Christy Watson, I'm currently out right now with a friend to go and talk to ghosts. That's awesome. That's really cool, actually. To think about it. If we're talking to them, which we normally talk to ghosts, they're watching us talking to ghosts. That's really cool.
Say hi for us.
Yeah, definitely. Say hi for us. Actually, keep us updated. We want to hear it. And we'll talk about it on the live stream. We want to hear about how your experience is going, because honestly, we do it usually every weekend. We try and go out and talk to ghosts or do something creepy or paranormal, and we wanted to take this weekend to spend that time with you guys. So it's actually really cool, I think.
I think our supporters, the people who watch what we do, they've been great. You guys have been great, and I think it's about time that we really built this community up and started supporting each other and listening to each other's stories, and spreading word about what's going on in the paranormal community.
I agree with that. I'm gonna say this wrong. I think it's Anon Freak. Anon? Is it Anon?
A-N-O-N?
Yeah. Anon. He is from TikTok. That is awesome. Thank you. And what are ghosts made out of? That question came back. All right, I'm gonna answer that. You know what? I'm gonna answer that. So to start, we're gonna hit hard going right into it.
This could be controversial.
I know. So a lot of people believe in different things, and I try and, I'm not gonna add like a lot of things into it. I'm gonna try and keep it very straight and forward, because I could talk forever about what ghosts are made of. Actually, we're gonna be doing a video on it probably in the future, and what are ghosts and stuff like that. But in my understanding, I do a lot. I'm not just a ghost hunter. I am a paranormal researcher. I read a lot of books about like what people's experiences are, what people believe in, from religion to science, quantum theory, quantum physics. There's a lot there. I mean, all the way to, what is that called? The Eerie theory? What is that Einstein talked about that people connect to? Is that the Eerie proton? I don't know. You talked about it before too, so I thought you might remember.
I'm not certain what you're talking about.
It's where Einstein stated that quantum, not atoms, but quantum neurons, basically, they can connect from here in light years away. They can still react the same, even though...
Quantum entanglement?
Yeah, quantum something. It's,
yeah, I can't remember what Einstein called it.
It was like not Eerie theory, it was like Eerie... Oh, man. Anyways, that theory is that something that is affected here can affect the same particles, the identical particles, even light years away. And they tested it on, like, not protons. Dude, now that we're live, my brain's dead. But basically, they tested it between atoms from one and the other that were pulled from each other. Not atoms. You're not helping.
Those would be particles.
Thank you.
I think they're electrons.
Electrons. Thank you. They took apart electrons, basically moved one here and moved one here, separating them and putting one in the containment. And anytime they touched the left one that was not contained, it affected the one that is contained. And they said that could affect electrons that are connected light years away, and it freaked out Einstein. Anyways, I'm going to do that a lot tonight. I'm going to ramble. From transitioning into that, or from that, basically humans are all made... I don't know if you can hear that, but of course there's a motorcycle going by way up on the road, and it's super loud. Humans are made out of electricity, or energy. We all have our own energy. They state that as in, like, from just being balancing energy. People call it, aura. There's a lot of energy that feeds off of us. I'm going to shortcut this, so some of it might not make sense, so you can ask those questions later. But we're all made of our own energy. Our brains have electricity running through them. They all have energy running through them. And what happens is that energy is what's basic. The energy, our energy, we use a lot of it daily. A lot of it, we regain it, we use a lot of it daily. And we put a lot of energy into certain things like our wedding rings or our, our livelihoods, our careers, our family, our friends, certain items, our cars. And we leave a lot of energy behind connecting to those things, which are called anchors. And what happens is that when we, don't have our vessel to keep energy with, our energy is kind of spread out and kind of over time, without going into religious sense, because there's a lot of different religions that talk about spirits as well, what doesn't move on stays and kind of forms back into like what we leave behind. So if let's use an example like the one I use is a wedding ring, because people usually put a lot of energy into their loved ones, their spouses, and they put a lot of energy and they leave it like in their wedding ring because they wear it constantly and stuff. This isn't a wedding ring, but I'm using it as an example. And what happens is that people that move on and stuff that don't move on, the pieces that don't move on are left in those items, are left in those areas, are left doing the same things, and in sense creates what's known as a ghost. It is the energy particles that are left behind, the electromagnetics that are left behind, and creates a spirit. Did that make sense at all? I feel like I'm kind of going back and forth. It's kind of hard to.
I think it somewhat made sense. It's a very long-winded answer.
I know. Like I said, this could go on for hours, so I'm trying to really shortcut it.
I'll say in short, no one can say 100% for sure.
Okay, that's fair.
That there's an idea of intelligent energies, a higher consciousness, if you will, that gets left behind. Maybe it's not attached to your body. That could be a ghost. I don't know. There's lots of things, lots of theories, but that's all that they are theories. That's why paranormal researchers are called paranormal researchers, because we have to research it. We really lots of theories, but no one knows for sure.
That is true. They are. The problem is that with paranormal data is that we can get data from like a spirit or something, but it's hard to recreate that data, to keep testing that data back and forth with that same spirit, that same answer, and move to the next spirit and try the same thing, because every spirit has their own basically amount of energy.
Ghosts are made out of marshmallow fluff.
I bought marshmallows for the fire.
Like Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was a ghost, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was made of marshmallow fluff. So, possibly marshmallow fluff.
Yeah, I apologize for my long answer. It could go a lot longer, and I'm sorry if it didn't make sense. I'm starting to realize I just rambled and went in circles, but
yeah, I mean,
I've studied.
You touched on Einstein there.
Right away.
That was a good name drop. Dropping Einstein.
Well, it's because particles and energies and electromagnetic waves, and he studied that with the eerie quantum stuff. It is a lot. There is a lot. I've read a lot of books, and they all state a lot of different things. I mean,
yeah, I think the spiritual realm and science definitely connect somewhere.
Yeah, it's hard to it's hard to bring an answer that everyone can enjoy and because it's a realm that people don't like to talk about, because it's a thought process. That's what makes it spooky, right? It's a thought process that we're not used to. So I'm gonna look at the chat now.
Oh, by the way, we heard some coyotes out here as we were setting up. They got me spooked. I'm certain that those were coyotes, but we're in an area that's it's pretty spooky anyway.
Yeah, we'll go into that too here in a second. And before you say ghosts are made of atoms, not atoms. I was saying the wrong energy, which is electrons. I got ahead of myself. It's not atoms, they're electrons, which are connected to the electromagnetic fields and stuff. So they're not made of atoms.
Well,
maybe.
If ghosts are electrical energy, then you have electrically charged atoms.
Okay.
Right? So
See,
an electromagnetic field are electrically charged atoms. So if they're made of electrical energy or electromagnetic energy, then technically they are made of atoms.
So I was right. I swear I'm not dumb. I'm just nervous. Let's see, I'm going back.
And that's if, though.
Yeah. I love talking to ghosts, but hopefully I don't get the same object thrown at me than 4 days ago. What object was thrown at you? I got a knife thrown at me the other day. Oh, that doesn't sound fun. We've had books, I've had books thrown at me. I've had People have been thrown. I've had toys and stuff, but I don't think I've ever had a knife. That's kind of scary, actually.
I don't think I've ever had anything thrown at me. I've had stuff tossed around the room that, like, I'll hear it before I see it, but it's nowhere near me. I have had stuff apparate in front of me, though.
Same.
Where I'll be walking and something just drops on the floor.
Like out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
There's like no context at all and just falls.
Yeah, I've had that, but I've never actually had anything thrown at me, I think. Maybe they could just have really bad aim.
They just, well, see, you're really focused of a person, so when you're holding the camera, you don't really like pay attention to what's being thrown behind. You could have bookshelves thrown behind you, and you're like, okay, I'm watching you. Right.
That's possible.
No, but I do miss those kind of locations. We haven't been to one of those like high poltergeisty areas in a while, where like, you know, things are being thrown at us constantly.
Yeah.
You know, we need a good one.
I'd love to set some of those up. It's just, you know, where are we gonna?
You can't like plan a poltergeist.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, the most poltergeist activity has always been off camera, but I hope one day we can catch it on camera. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to some of these.
Well, as of right now, we have the one camera. We get one angle.
Yeah, we're actually saving up with funding right now to get another camera. Which this camera right now that you're seeing through was $1,000. So it was pretty pricey. It's why we kind of slowed up on buying more equipment because we're trying to pay it off and stuff. But we want to try and focus on getting another camera, some better IR lights. So we've got plans. It's just getting to that point. It's a really good camera though. I hear random laughter or see the ghost of my late grandfather in my house, and I'm going to try and not freak out as much as my mom did. It was my late grandfather. That's understandable. The house I grew up in is very haunted, and the thing is, we built our house on this property, but this is connected to my property. That's one thing I'm going to start spoiling. I got a whole story for this, but this is connected to my property. You can ask him. All the woods are haunted. Like, ever since my family bought it, like in the 70s, it's been crazy. And we've experienced stuff. Every time people come out, they've experienced a lot of things. I grew up here, and my house just being built on it had a lot of like shadow people, had like voices. I mean, even now we have like kids that run through it. And this is before I went out and started ghost hunting a lot. We just had people showing like showing up like shadow style. We still have a kid run up on the door and knock on the door, and we open the doors and no one's there. So we understand that feeling. It's kind of scary at first, but not all ghosts are bad. So stating that, you know, maybe try talking to them. Try and talk to the spirits. If it is your great grandfather, you know, maybe, you know, see, or your late grandfather, maybe like talk to, maybe there's something he wants to tell you that he never got to in life. What?
I was hearing something. I'm pretty sure it was an owl.
It's an owl.
Okay.
Yeah. The coyotes are like constant.
Yeah. It's gonna be really embarrassing if I pee myself on stream. But those coyotes, seriously, they'll jump out at you and be like, "Oh my gosh!"
I've been charged at, like, normally people are like, "Oh, coyotes are scared. They'll run from you." I was in the front of the farm, like actually talking to him on the phone.
Yeah.
And we were just talking out there, you know, I was just talking, and all of a sudden, like, this was, I think, a year or two ago, we had beans, which are, like, this high, and I was just out there talking on the phone, and all of a sudden the coyotes pick up right near me, and I start looking for them. I didn't have anything to defend myself, and they just, like, 3 of them jump out of the beans and start running at me, and I ended up making it to inside the house. But, like, normally they're not aggressive, but, like, around here, I don't know if they're just dumb. They're not hunted a lot. So they do come at you. I think it's more, you know, if I needed to, I could have probably, you know, anti-PETA them. But the problem is that, like, at the moment, when you don't notice nothing's there, and all of a sudden 3 ant things jump out at you, you're unprepared. I feel like we're prepared better for cryptids, you know, trying to come at us than coyotes.
Yeah. Usually, if we're in an area with cryptids, it's because we mean to be.
Yeah.
You know? We're expecting.
But like when it comes to like, you know, Kai's not expecting it. Let's see. Here we're in laughter late. I got next. Glowstone to me, or electrons? Yeah, electrons. Energy, what is energy? Can it be transferred to electricity? Energy in a running ring like heat energy. Sorry, you wrote a lot, so I'm reading through it. No, it doesn't make sense at all. You're using a lot of soft words. I need to hear the intelligent. I never heard of intelligent energies. Wait, do you know what a theory is? I think you mean hypnosis, not theory? No, definitely theory. Oh, this was a joke. Ghosts are made out of electrons, so does my 9-volt battery have ghosts in it?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of cut through these without going crazy. Yeah, I'm using a lot of soft words because there's a lot of questions we want to get to later on in a lot of storytelling. So, energy, electrons. Say they're kind of the same thing. We can have this debate real quick. Like, it's still in a theory, but when people take, like, how do I put this? Energy is all around us at all times. They've taken pictures trying to prove it. They use UV cameras, I think. Like, is that UV cameras? Basically, certain type of cameras that like start to show energy coming off of people and stuff. That could be like heat, but most of it's like electronic. The heat energy you mentioned earlier is like a lot of electricity. Friction creates heat. I'm trying to think like how to answer the questions quickly, but basically energy is all around us. They are connected through electrons. That is why we get electromagnetic fields, and that is why we find them on the K2s. Energy comes from like all of us are like basically the electromagnetic fields that come off of us are not strong enough to connect to the K2, but we do have electromagnetic fields coming off of us at all times. That's why if you have more sensitive meters, they will go off from you just holding the meter. We just produce electromagnetic waves. So when we die, what's left? Theoretically, what's left is electromagnetic fields that we leave behind. Again, that's a theory. And it's not like it's not hypnosis, it's the eerie conundrum.
Hypothesis?
Is it hypothesis? No, he says nope, it is hypothesis. I read it super quick.
Okay. Well,
hypothesis.
See, here's the difference. Hypothesis is a statement. Like, I believe when this happens, this is the result. That sort of thing. Theory, it's not so much a scientific theory as much as it is a philosophical theory. And I use the word theory because, again, as of right now, none of this is scientific fact, right? As far as electrons being energy, it's not so much that, but with excited particles, you tend to get static electricity. So, static electricity. Electricity is energy, as you know. I'm trying to think of...
I know, it's like really hard to like kind of explain it without having to go in giant detail or giant words and stuff like that. I'm trying to...
So I come personally from a standpoint of saying like ghosts aren't real. Not for myself, but if I'm going to try and prove the existence of the paranormal, I have to prove the existence of the paranormal to people who don't believe it. So I come at it from a standpoint of, okay, ghosts don't exist. What do I need to see to prove it? I can see things happen, and I can say, hey, maybe it's this, maybe it's something else, but I'm not willing to say for sure unless I can prove definitively to someone who is a complete skeptic.
And that's always hard to do because people like us, we've experienced it. We've seen things, we've felt things, we've watched things happen to the point to where, like, it's undoubtedly, for me at least, that ghosts exist. I mean, I've dealt with this since I was a kid. I've seen things, and I've seen things with others. We've experienced things together. So I can say that I have seen this happen, and I can say that there is no way I could say this other than, a spirit. But to someone else, someone else's truth is different than my truth. Someone who's never seen anything, well, they can say that they don't believe it, and that's fine. They can say they don't exist. That's fine. That's their belief. But what I believe is what I've seen, what I've done. And until they experience what I've experienced, they might not believe the way I do, and that's okay, you know.
I mean, like, as of right now, we have no way to definitively prove the paranormal exists. Any proof that you come up with, someone who's a skeptic can find a way to explain it, right? It may not be what happened, but if they can explain it that way, and they use Occam's razor, then that's going to be the definitive explanation. Maybe eventually we find a way to definitively prove without having a personal experience. But as of right now, you know, I can show you definitive proof, a video of an apparition appearing in front of us, and you could find a way that that was faked, or that's not an apparition or a ghost. So as of right now, I think as paranormal researchers and paranormal investigators, a large part of our job is data collection, finding out what kind of things happen around these paranormal events. That's a large part of our job, and in the meantime, hopefully we can entertain some people by putting out videos, photos, and that sort of thing.
I agree with you. Chrissy Watson says I'm going to talk to ghosts. Just to go back, talk about the 9-volt. Ghosts can't, no. Ghosts can, you said, can a ghost be in my 9-volt? Can we use them as free energy? Not that I know of. You know, maybe there's a spirit that can haunt a 9-volt, but
That'd be cool.
they can definitely feed from electricity. I've been to locations, actually one of the last locations I went to, we walked in, everything died because it pulled energy from those devices, such as K2 meters, cameras, just drained it all instantly as soon as we walked in. And that was it. You know, we couldn't really investigate. That was at the place in Indiana. You didn't get to go. It was just yeah, we walked in,
Revenant,
dead.
Revenant Acres?
No, the last place, Chesterfield.
Oh, Chesterfield.
I think somewhere around there. Anyways, we walked in and just died. It was the old hotel that we planned on doing an investigation, just couldn't because everything died. We'll talk to some other. Let's see. Well, now I have to go now. I will see you soon. Okay, Anon Freak. Sorry about that. Anon.
Anon.
The Gray Phantom goes hypothesis, not hypnosis, and we figured that out. It's a lot going on. I'm gonna just read everything you said, and you can do what you want with it.
Okay.
Because I'm certain you're misusing the word theory. Time is a theory, gravity is a theory, evolution is a theory. What are you describing is not a theory. The guy on the right isn't using the null hypnosis correctly. You don't start with ghosts don't exist. You start with do ghosts exist? A truth is a truth. There is no such thing as subjective truth. Wait, how do you know that ghosts drain your batteries? How do you know it wasn't a leprechaun or aliens? Why leave straight to ghosts?
Well, I think we don't. That's the whole point. We don't.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Problem solved.
Honestly, just a term so we understand it. You know, there's a lot going on, so.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm going to cut away from chat for a bit. For anyone that's watching, we are going to basically, we do have Streamlabs up right now. So if you wish to donate or anything, it's streamlabs.com/Zodiac Supernatural Investigators. That'll give us, you know, a little thing on the screen. It'll let us see that you're here. And any donation that you put will go into like funding for, you know, more cameras, better equipment, and more locations as well. Stating that. So the location that we're in right now, we haven't really got to talk to you much about it. We are in a location that is out in the woods, and we've had a lot. So I want to go a little bit about the story of this place, and you've had experiences here as well.
Yeah.
So ever since I've grown up, we've always had, you know, like I said, shadow people in the house. We've had, you know, things be like moved, voices, sounds that are hard to describe. And we ended up like really like searching into the woods for a while, and every time we go out, something happens. Even more recent, not too long ago, we had a fire and something happened. So I'm going to start with our story that we had out here. One of the first ones you've had here. So there's a barn not too not too far from here. Farther enough to where there's no electricity, so we couldn't do a live stream there. I'd like to at some point. But I've been to a lot of places. But this place is probably one of my top, like, most haunted, scary places. And even to this day, I go back there thinking something's going to happen negatively. It is like filled with negative energy. People come back scratched, you know, sick. Coyotes.
They're fairly close.
Just sounds weird. It's like, they're not like like the last ones were like right here, so they're not super close. But so speaking of which, it came from that direction.
I'm gonna hop off screen for a sec.
So, anyways, we have had a lot of experiences going on. One of the first ones is when Roger first came here about a few years back. We ended up having a group together. It was his friend, and actually we had me, him, try not to name drop too much because they don't want to know, a guy and 2 girls. And we went back there, like, kind of just messing around. We just started, you know, paranormal investigating a bit together, Roger and I. And I told him about this creepy location. And he, before the Zodiacs, was on Cincy Paranormal. Cincy Supernatural or Cincy Paranormal? Cincy Supernatural. And he'd go to houses and stuff and investigate. And he was interested, because I did investigations a lot too. I never really went into houses. I never went into, you know, like, I did friends' houses and stuff, but I never got asked to come to people's houses much. I went to locations and such, but so it was kind of our first conjoined mess. So we ended up going out to the woods. It got a little creepy, you know, like it got dark, really quiet. You know, there's an old barn out there that's falling apart. I think I have a picture of it on our Instagram. And we've always had these weird feelings. We've always had, you know, things shake, you know, move, noises that are hard to explain. But this was the start of things. When we were out there, we ended up separating. Him and the guy ended up, you know, staying back, and that I had to take one of the girls back to the house. So on my way back to the house, me and my friend, we dropped her off and came back. When we were getting close to the barn, it got really quiet. Like, we couldn't hear anything until, and this barn is like out in the woods. Like, you know, you have to follow a path just to get to it. We get there, and we start hearing like stomping, like just stomping, and it sounded like it was like going back, like around the barn. And we were like, what is that noise, you know? And then it hit me. I'm like, oh, it's bipedal. It's got to be Roger messing with us. And, you know, we get really quiet, and we stand there, and we look for the sound, and we look, and we're like looking where the sound is being made, but nothing is popping up. And we're like, okay, something's going on here. And we stray by to the dead center of the barn, where we see Roger and his friend sitting in the middle doing an EVP or EMF session. And we're like, what the hell? And all of a sudden we hear on the left side of the barn just, you know, getting up and running really fast, but it sounded really loud, and as if it was staying in the same spot. And but it sounded like it was running in the same spot, but as if it was running away at the same time. It was like super loud but fading, if that makes sense. And the thing is that, like, they thought that it was us running around out around the barn messing with them, and we both looked at each other and looked at this where this thing was and shined our lights. We didn't see anything. It just disappeared. We looked around there for a while and didn't have anything until a little bit later And that night, I believe it was the same night, we were out there and we started asking questions, like trying to get it to come back, trying to see what it was. And this was like one of our first, I would consider it almost a possession. Um, you know, we've seen some heavy stuff, but the girl that was with us, she just stood there and said, "I can't move." We were like, "What?" She's like, I can't move." And she explained how she felt like a hand was on her back and she couldn't move. And all of a sudden she just started like kind of like shaking a bit. Her eyes kind of glazed over. And she's like, I can't move. I can't, start talking. And we tried coaxing her out of it and talking to her. And then we ended up, trying anything. At the time, we didn't really understand exorcisms or anything. So we tried to splash a holy water. We tried, the cross and stuff like that. We tried multiple things, but after a bit, it finally like let go, and we were able to get her out of there. And it's ever since then, it's been like really high active. We've been back there with groups of people where they come back with just scratches across their chest. We had a couple go back there, and as soon as they both walk out, they both puke. It's like this force field around this area that as soon as we walk out, they just got sick, both of them at the same time. Our theory is that I've looked at this property line, and there was a house out there about 20 years ago. And the thing is that the weird thing is that around us, we live in an area where there's a bunch of farmland. Outside this area, there's been like, acres and acres cut down and cut down and cut. But this plot of farmland has been the same forever. And the farmhouse isn't even where that house is. It's like it was a separate sponge of like a location out there. Like this was a homestead maybe. It wasn't its own property. It just, they had their own like housing and the name of it. And it was there until the house just fell apart in the 70s, I guess. But no one lived there for a long, long time. And this farm, I mean, I've gone on history all the way back to the mid 1800s, and I'm still going farther back. There's a lot of history here that's we're still trying to figure out, and there's stuff here that doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, that barn is probably say a good half a mile away, and we get stuff happening here a lot, just back in the woods.
Mary McDowell says hello.
Hello.
Hello, Mary. Then we've got some of these here. Some more chats. I don't feel like reading it to you.
I get that. I had experience about 13 years ago dealing with the same thing. I saw a person possessed and ended up blacking out myself for a bit. It was horrible. Saw a person possessed and then ended up yeah, it's really bad. Like I personally have never really been possessed or affected by possession, but a lot of people around me have, and to a point where like a Snyder or Aries, something always like usually happens to him a lot. He ends up blacking out. Like it's not like I hang out with him a lot to the point to where I know that it's just not a normal thing. We've had experience. We've gone to locations where he doesn't black out anything. But even, for example, this spot here, we were here, me and Snyder. He wasn't here yet. We were standing out here, and we heard a bunch of noises out there, a bunch of like unnatural sounding noises, and I'll go into later. And our two friends are out here, and we were like, okay, like come on, talk with us, nothing. And then I was like, okay, I'm getting tired of this. Like I don't usually get aggressive much, but it was like getting to a point where it's getting annoying, I guess. We're like, okay, if you're here, show us that you're here. I'm tired, like got a little aggressive. And this is when I learned my lesson, because Snyder blacks out and falls on his face, and we had to carry him out of this area. And it didn't make any sense, but he's like, I just felt like instantly drained completely. We had a deal with a full possession once, where it's like the whole like blood coming out of your nose, eyes rolling in the back of your head, hands curling up. And I had to do an exorcism on him, and he said what it felt like was like being in a boxing arena with something else that you can't see, just completely black, and you're fighting it off until you can finally win, and you just can't see what you're hitting. You just got to keep fighting. And it sounds, really scary. It sounds like you don't, like, it's definitely something that you don't want to deal with, if you don't have to, for sure. And it's like, sounds like you're fighting for yourself, like something is in your subconscious and it's fighting to take control. And I've seen Snyder, go black out and look up and like feel like his eyes glazed over. It's scary. It is. I'm glad to hear that you got out of it though. It's really cool to hear that you got out of it. No, possession can be hard to. Oh, you're answering his question. Someone.
You have a question? Someone already answered it?
Yeah. Someone says.
Thank you for participating in chat.
Yeah, they can't move. They can be paralyzed or having seizures. I've thought of that. I have. And I've done research on it for sure. It's weird though to have no history on seizures or, paralyzation, and then go into an area where things are happening. I mean, it could be caused by fear, but I mean, I'm going to say that you probably aren't just feared in like haunted locations. You get fear from a lot of things. So it's very strange to have it happen when you're having a lot of EMFs going off or EVPs and stuff, and then all of a sudden it happens. It's like, oh, random seizure, So splashing them with water, I don't know. Is it bad to like have a seizure and splash someone with holy water? Like if it's an actual medical condition?
I mean, as long as you're not
like drowning them.
Well, you've got to keep their safety in mind, right?
Exactly.
And their health.
Check the tongues, check their face.
If you've splashed someone with holy water, I don't think it's a big deal. I mean, I wouldn't knowingly, if someone was having a seizure, splash them with holy water for a seizure based on a medical condition.
Yeah. I would say if it does, I'd look it up first, and I'm going to actually research that. If it doesn't affect someone to splash them with holy water, while they're having a seizure, then it probably wouldn't hurt to try it.
Obviously, the first thing you're going to want to do is take care of them, though, and make sure that...
I've seen seizures before, and I've seen possessions before, and they are two different stories. I mean, I could be wrong with that, I'm no doctor, but when I've seen both of them happen, you can tell, because when someone's, unless it's a full possession, they're still there. They're like, okay, something's not right, blah, blah, blah. And I've seen them walk out of it, but with seizures, they're on the ground twitching and stuff. It's not, stop thinking Hollywood. All right, stop thinking someone's going to curl up in a ball and start like freaking out because they're getting possessed. I mean, it could happen, don't get me wrong. But most of the times I've seen it, they just can't move and stuff. Paralyzed with fear, sure. But,
I can't think of a time where I've ever actually been around someone possessed.
I'd say the girl situation when we were out there with, what's her face? When we were out there, she couldn't move. I wouldn't call it a possession. Maybe like I said a lower possession, but I think it's like almost like maybe something's trying to affect her.
An oppressive stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like something's trying to affect her negatively.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read some other comments here. I think you can tell someone's having a seizure, LOL. I'm sure they knew she was having one. Yep. So there was another house where a child was heavily influenced by dark forces, and then we had a house where there was sulfur and burning. I ended up going to the ER. It just jumped away from me. Going to the ER later with looked like burns in my throat. I usually only go to help people when someone is heavily influenced and needs it. I was once on the darker side of things, and my experience with it helps. I agree with that. Actually, I'm not gonna say it's up to your personal needs and up to your personal like influences if you want to do darker stuff and stuff like that. I wouldn't condone it because some things are very dangerous. But with you doing that and you helping people because of that knowledge, that is amazing. I don't do darker things or darker influences, but I've studied them just so I know if I come across them. It's a good thing to do and a good thing to know. Or it's a good thing to know because if you come across them, you need to know how to do so situational, and it's really cool that you do that to help people. It is scary when that happens, when you go and smell sulfur, stuff like that. Stuff like demonic houses. We feel like we've been to some, but I feel like they could be a lot worse. to the ones we've been to, because some of the demonic stories we've heard are really, really terrifying, and I mean, we would go and help people if need be. If something was happening and we know that was a demonic force, and they were needing our help, we'd be there. You know, we're here to help people, so we would have to do what we can, you know, and call, like, you know, professional if need be. But I mean, I consider us kind of professionals. But I mean, like, you know, if I need like a high-level exorcist, I need to call like a priest, like, you know, go there and do that. But clearing out negative energies and stuff, you know, I know we can do that. So I would say that that's a really cool thing that you do that, and I'm glad to hear that you helped it. I'm sorry to hear that you've been hurt, though, doing so. But it sounds like that you did it in justice to help these people, and that's really cool that you've done that. Yeah, here, you take control for a bit. I'm going to fix the fire.
Okay.
You have a flashlight? Flashlight.
Oh, yeah, flashlight. There you go.
You don't even have to follow the chat. You can just talk your own story if you want to.
Oh.
So I'm probably going to walk over there and get a drink.
Man, I can't carry stuff on my own. I have to have someone to work off of.
Well, I talked about the story out there. Talk about your experience in it. Like how I said, you know, what did you feel when you were out in the barn and something was running around you? Remember how we were out here? I told that story just a minute ago.
Yeah. Well, that was creepy because I was sitting out there with Roger's friend.
I don't know if they want the name out there, so I'm trying to be nice.
And it was so strange having something that was definitely bipedal and heavy running around us, closely around us, but we still couldn't see it. And we could see a fairly good way off into the distance, probably 75 feet in the dark. It was, you know, a fairly brightly lit night, and just didn't see anything, but heard it a lot. That was scary. And then having them show up out of nowhere, and they heard it as well. The noise stopped, but no one ever seen anything run away. That was freaky. I mean, it freaked me out. I just get bad vibes in general from that barn.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you tell them a little bit about what's happened out here? Because I'm gonna fix our description real quick. Tell them about like what we've seen recently.
Let's see. Something bipedal and heavy running around you. Did you get a picture? No, I didn't get a picture. I didn't happen to have a camera at the time.
Yeah, and I definitely didn't have one walking back to the area. I think the problem was that we were unprepared for it, because at the time we didn't think anything was that, I guess, out that big out there.
Yeah.
So plus they were inside of a barn with like 2 open doors, and like we were way outside from the door. So like we were probably, I wouldn't say way, we were in the vicinity. I probably could have taken a picture if I had a camera, but it would have been really hard for him, like if he was shooting outside the door and got it at the right time, with it running around the outside of the barn.
Yeah. It was definitely, like, you could hear the pattern of the footfalls being 2 feet. I mean, that's how I would describe it anyway. It may not have been, but still couldn't see the thing. Let's see, it's unnerving when you can't see anything, but hearing it, it's one of those things I hate when going places. LOL. Or breathing. You can't hear it. You can hear it breathing and can't see it. Yeah, that's
always scary.
Definitely. Oh my, that is a hot fire.
You're welcome.
I wish you hadn't done that.
You're welcome. Time to get naked. Super Supernatural Investigator. So I'm checking something real quick. I won't let me mess with the description. We're still, like I said, we're still learning some things. It is our like our first time doing this live stream, but I am checking. There is a Streamlabs. Yeah, if you go to streamlabs.com, Zodiac Supernatural, streamlabs.com/Zodiac Supernatural Investigators. I am going to test something real quick. I don't know how it works fully, but basically we have, oh my god, not $500, Jesus. And trying to see what happens. So,
Jeez.
oh, Jesus, there it is. Boom.
Trying to see if something pops up on screen.
I hope it's not $500 because that would suck. Yeah, I'm donating $5 to us from my personal to our funding. So it'll be like one of the first ones to jump up. I want to see what happens. I've never done this before, so I'm testing it out. It's going through
Aren't
now.
leprechauns bipedal and invisible?
Yes, but I
Could
feel
it
like
have
they're
been a leprechaun?
smaller, aren't they? I don't know. The lore I've seen is between, you know,
I mean, I suppose.
I don't know.
With leprechaun.
Well, I know gnomes are supposed to be this big, and I know they're earth elements, but that's like really small penguin. What we're talking about, if a leprechaun is tall, you know, like normal size, I'd say the way the weight was, and way the sounding was, I'd say it was about 6 to 7 foot. Where it was kind of, it was like, I'll see if I can mock it, but it was very like heavy footprints and stomping, but it wasn't like, you know, it was normal walking. It was probably like,
Yeah, I mean,
I'd say.
I gotta say, I don't know what it was. I don't personally
that's
believe
fair.
in leprechauns, but
There was an error with your donation.
I'm not gonna say leprechauns don't exist. But I don't personally believe them. I don't know what it was. All I know is it freaked me out and I couldn't see it.
Whoa!
Just saying it's freaky.
I just wanted to donate $5, not $5 a month. Hold on now. Oh, because that's a pro. I mean, I don't mind $5, you know, going into savings for us, but I'm already doing that.
Man, I'm just like, I really want to see a leprechaun now. Like, do they look like Warwick Davis in the movie?
I want to believe
Or-
so.
Was that Warwick Davis? I don't even remember who played the leprechaun now. I certainly don't have any gold, so if that was...
Yeah, see, I
What
don't
they were
know.
after.
I don't know, like, I need to study more on leprechauns because I don't know what they would need. Like, I mean, we've studied a lot of local stuff because we've got Wendigos around here. Apparently, we've got,
Jeez, man.
you know, there's
So
been stories of, a lot of stories of Bigfoot. In southern Ohio, there is a lot of Bigfoot stories, especially around here. We have, let's see, Wendigo, Rougarou stories, even though they're more from the south. But we've heard some stories up here. There's been a lot of signs of Bigfoot. There's been a lot of, like, actually, like, weird things too. Like, we have the Loveland frog.
Yeah.
We have, I think it was like a ghost jaguar, which we don't have any jaguars around here, so I guess it's a ghost. Which we haven't seen ourselves, so we can't prove those stories one way or another. But, well, I mean, we've seen things. Definitely seen things, but, to definitely say this is what the lore says and this is what we saw, it's hard to pinpoint what we've seen. We've seen a lot of things, but to write it all down.
Let's see. Wait, why don't you believe in leprechauns? I don't know. It's not... Like, I don't disbelieve. But it's not something that I tend not to just believe in stuff without having some kind of personal experience. Could it have been leprechauns? Sure. Maybe what I refer to as ghosts constantly are always leprechauns. That's a possibility, I suppose.
So I donated to us. I don't know when it will show up or if it will.
You donated to me?
Yeah, to us, not you. So I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but basically I just donated to see if it was going to work. It's something that's set up. Yeah, there it goes. Cool. So there's a whole like setting and stuff. I wasn't sure if it was going to work or not, but that is how a donation works. So if you want to put a donation in, it'll pop up in the top left corner, and we'll be able to see it. And you'll become like, it'll show up in the corner. It'll keep marks, and we'll be able to talk with you directly with that. So, anyways, yeah. As for me, see, me and him differ on that. He's the type of person that like wants to see more proof or be able to like have at least enough to be able to point towards it. He's more of the scientifical side of it, I'd want to call it. Is that how you put yourself?
I don't know that I'd say that. At least not dogmatic about it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say with me, there's a lot that I can't prove, but I've seen that makes me believe in things that there. I think the way I see it is there are things out there that we couldn't even comprehend to believe, to the point to where I believe in things that might not be there. I mean, the way someone taught me how to describe the paranormal, for example, is when you take a jug of water and you fill the top of it with black ink. You can see the black ink in the water, but then you shake that water up. You shake it up, that ink starts to dissipate into the water, but it won't like disappear. It's just particleized to the point to where it's almost see-through. And you can ask someone, "Do you see black ink?" And they'll say no. And do you know that it's in there? Yes. It's one of those moments of we can see things. We don't have to see things to know that they're there. But again, that's just going off of like, you know, when you start putting like subtitles on things like Leprechaun and stuff like that, I don't know. Wendigos, Rougarous, Bigfoot, I'd say yeah. Leprechauns, that's a hard one. You know, maybe it could be, you know, regionalized too. There are animals regionalized. Why can't there be cryptids? You know?
Let's see. Mary McDowell said, LOL, Chupacabra here in Texas.
That is awesome. That's
Octavia Firestorm says, are you talking local legends of your area? Sorry, just joined in.
Yes.
Octavia, sorry.
Go on.
This name is awesome.
What is it?
Octavia Firestorm.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, at the moment, like, I'm just talking about local legends in general. The ones I'm focusing on, the ones I was saying, is in our local area. I say around here, you know, we have stories of Wendigo, you know, Bigfoot and stuff. Wendigo came from the northern and kind of walked down with the Cree tribe, and then moved over to Midwest and such, as the lore goes. And of course, there could be some that have stranded off. Same with Bigfoot, you know, he's everywhere. But I'd like to hear more about your all local legends. So if you want to start talking about them, we can start, you know, talking a little bit back about them. The Chupacabra, really cool. I wish we knew more. I wish I knew more about it. It's not really big up here, so I never got to study it. So any information you have, I'd love to hear it. The Chupacabra, I know, like, for a long time, like, people like up here used to talk about it as in like a Bigfoot type of creature, but as time went on, it started being talked about like a dog-like type of creature.
Yeah.
And then there was one that was like something with the bat wings and stuff too. Like, wasn't there something like that? Like way, like a while ago. I went like a long time ago. But
I'm trying to think. When I think of something with bat wings, I think of the Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
I think of the Jersey Devil. I'm not certain.
Yeah, I think it was the most common one that I can think of right now is the dog-like creature one that basically did a bite into goats and like drain them of blood and like ate them or attacked them. That's a story for you, actually. A question for you though. Can you give us more details about the Chupacabra? Because they have so many that has been like fluctuated throughout up here.
It looks like a mangy coyote.
Okay.
Texas also has random Lady of the Lake stuff. Is that like the woman who delivered Excalibur, or is that something?
Is that like a woman in white?
Something different than that.
Yeah, to me it sounds like almost like a woman in white situation where, like, you know, there's a lady probably walking on the lake. 'Cause the women in white around here are ones that, like, you know, the whole story of, you know, an old woman is gone, like, having a mental breakdown, drowns her children in the lake, and either kills herself or gets killed, and she becomes like a woman in white, walking on the by the bridges that she murdered her children or something. We got a few of those around here.
I do have to say, if it's the woman who delivered Excalibur to Arthur, I'm going to Texas because I want to get my
The
hands.
woman that gave the Excalibur to King Arthur,
Yeah.
who was in, the European side.
Lady in the lake. Well, I mean, she lives in a lake.
A body of water. You're not wrong. So we're going to go down and...
I don't know what her rules are.
I'm not making fun of it, by the way.
got a
I'm just
magic
questioning
sword.
him.
I'm just having fun with Excalibur.
I'm making fun of him, not the story. Actually, that would be kind of funny. We're going like on an investigation, and you just walk out to the middle of the lake and pull out a sword, and we're just like, oh my god.
Yeah. Let's see, Octavia is from North Dakota. They don't have that many that they know of. I would say she, but I don't want to assume.
Oh, yeah.
But Octavia sounds like I don't know.
Well, I think because Octavia, it ends with an A, and we think of... Is
Right.
that feminine? No.
That, like, in Spanish, that's definitely a feminine.
I think.
Ending in an A.
Yeah, so I think it's where mine is. So we're sorry. If you want to say, identify what you are, we'll definitely start talking through that. We don't want to misidentify
Not that
anyone.
you have to.
Yeah, you don't have to. And anyway, I'm sorry, we're new to this.
Let's see. Native American legends. Where I live, it's Native American lands. Lots of stories. My husband's uncle told me tons of stories.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot. I think Thunderbird came from the Thunderbird came from Native American, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know what clan or anything, a tribe. There was that one. I know the Wendigo was from the Cree. They were from a lot, but Cree is the most well known. I'm trying to think. It feels like it's been a while since I've brushed up on my cryptid. I know a lot of up here because, we go and search for them and such. But I want to learn more. We've traveled a lot, and I want to start traveling to locations where, like, cryptids have been seen as well, because we're not just, ghost hunters. We're supernatural investigators, so we go and try and search, cryptids, local legends, the unknown in general. And we do focus around ghost hunting because it's the easiest one to help us where we're at right now, because in southern Ohio there are more ghost stories than there are local legends. I'd assume, well, unless you want to consider ghost stories local legends, but like hauntings. I'll say more hauntings than local legends. Unless you want to consider Bigfoot, but that's everywhere around here.
Octavia said, yes, she.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Let's see. The Chupacabra is Hispanic mostly, but we have had some weird animal events at the ranches out here. From Mary McDowell.
I don't know what that was.
I don't know. My hearing's really bad.
Yeah.
So.
I want to blame the fire. There's some like high-pitched stuff. If you see anything on camera that isn't us, let us know. But what was the thing? I'm sorry.
I don't remember.
Something about, it was Mary. She said something about a chupacabra.
Chupacabra is Hispanic mostly, but we have had some weird animal events at the ranches out here.
Really? That's interesting. Do they think it's based around like the chupacabra lore? Do they think it's like some mutation? Like, that's really cool actually to think about. Cause
let me ask you a question real quick. Have you ever seen a lizard person?
Humanoid or like a lizard that kind of...
I don't know, a lizard persons. How many senators do you think are lizard people?
Well, if I got close enough to one to tell you, I'm sure that you wouldn't be seeing me in front of camera right now. So, unless I too am a lizard person. No, are you a lizard person? Wait, how can you tell? Like, is there like a way to, like, do they have like a button?
They can check for the tail.
Where is the tail in the front or the back?
We're not touching that one. Not the police. If it was my personal channel, I would totally address that question.
Oh, I have a Red Bull somewhere. Sweet.
I don't know. Wait, are you a lizard person? Dun dun dun.
Find out next week.
Let's see. You mean hybrid beings, Phantom? You could also have an angel-human hybrid.
A Nephilim?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm sitting here scratching my back with this umbrella on the lights. I'm so sorry, guys. I shouldn't be doing that.
It's our first time, you know. It's our first time in this setting.
You know, we're here to have fun. If you're not having fun, then
Exactly.
get out of the.
Don't. we need the publicity, please. Yeah, let's think of some.
All 5 of you.
All 5. I know. Well, we've continued kept up the numbers since we started.
Yeah.
I do appreciate all of you coming and staying. I'm sorry that we're not hitting every chat and stuff like that. There's a lot going on and a lot for us to kind of think of and stuff. It is a bit overwhelming, but we're doing our best. You know, I assume. I am. Are you?
I'm not doing my best at all. I'm not even trying.
Wow. What a dick.
I don't know that I want to say this one, but it's funny. Oh, this one.
Who wrote that one?
A Gray Phantom. A Gray Phantom. We just read the one thing that we think is hilarious,
It was
but
funny.
So, Mary says, so the weird stuff that has happened here is random cattle being eaten, dismembered, animals missing, I mean, like, weird bite patterns.
So, like, definitely sounds like either a demonic omen or, like Chupacabra, because they, or, no, that's a vampire bat, never mind. That's an actual thing. No, like, that actually, like, from...
Whoa, what did you just say?
What? There's an actual... Oh. No, like, that actually makes sense, because I know the lore states that the Chupacabra bit the necks of, like, goats, but that could mean small animals. With the lore that's been passed on, we kind of translate it or see it as something, maybe around the time where it was starting to be named or the lore was being written, it could have been, like, more goats than anything. So it's understandable that maybe it either, you know, or, you know, evolution, you know, we know that, you know, evolution happens with animals and stuff, so it isn't impossible to say it happens to cryptids too. Maybe it moved up from goats to something bigger, or maybe it, you know, got bigger. Because we were actually talking about this on a podcast one time that, you know, just because it's cryptid, what was the line? Cryptozoology is unknown animal.
Yeah.
Right.
Cryptozoology literally translates to unknown animal.
Exactly. So stating that could be, you know, like how we classify as Bigfoot or, you know, Chupacabra. Just because we classify it doesn't mean there's one. You know, they could be a species. They could grow into multiple, you know, have like a families or like go all over America, you know, or rather regional, obviously. So like the one that they wrote about 30, 40 years ago could have been like 4 generations ago. We don't know. You know, we haven't really got to scientifically study it, or it would be a known animal and it wouldn't be considered a cryptid.
Right.
So basically it could have changed. You know, they could have grown. Maybe this breed is a little different. Maybe it goes after cows. So it's something to, like, kind of fun to play with the mind, because, you know, it's hard to say. I haven't been there myself, but, or it could be just someone going crazy and, you know, eating animals. We're all...
Let's see. Octavia says, you guys are doing good.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Octavia.
We're really nervous, so I appreciate that.
A Gray Phantom says, I'm having fun. Yes, I'm a skeptic, but I'm enjoying your company. That's really great to hear.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Highly.
And he also says, are you guys familiar with infrasound, specifically in the range of 18.9 hertz? I have heard of infrasound. It basically, it can mess with your head, make you feel sick, that sort of thing.
Like,
a lot of the same kind of stuff that high electromagnetic fields are said to do, like mess with your head, make you see stuff, or make you think you see stuff, make you feel sick and that sort of thing.
Is that like binary, where, like, you know, you can feel certain emotions from the way the binary sound is and stuff, and like make you feel and see like, you know, like you said, saw things. But so I was thinking, like, you know how they have the binary test on YouTube, where like you start listening to it, you start trancing and stuff like that. Is like that?
I am not sure at all.
Okay, I'm not sure either. Like, I'm asking because I don't know. That's actually interesting.
But I have slightly heard of it. Let's see. Mary McDowell says they are supposed to drain the blood out of animals. There's also the Native American stories of shape-shifting negative spirits.
I've heard of that. Those are cool.
Let's see.
I mean, scary.
A Gray Phantom says, do aliens ever abduct cryptids? That's a good question.
That's a cool story. That's a cool idea.
Like, is that why we can't catch Bigfoot? Because aliens took them off the planet?
Like literally just come down and like, you know, like
That's a funny thought.
maybe they took him to another planet to hibernate a new planet, and there's just a planet of Bigfoot somewhere, like Planet Bigfoot. Movie idea.
Oh, yep. Okay.
That's it.
Let's write it.
Write it down. It's perfect.
Write it, shoot it, put it in the can. Let's go. Let's see. Mary McDowell says high EMF can make you really sick. If you're
Yes.
sensitive, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
Definitely. That is why, like, it's certain for higher sensitive people. When you go into areas with like bad like wiring and bad like what is it like a fuse box, like an older one, you could feel instantly like you're being stared at, like you're feeling sick and nauseous, just from like even electronics. And then when you talk about like on a spiritual level, you can really get messed up, especially if something tries to affect you. You could get like really sick.
There's also, so I've been on quite a few investigations where I'll go and I'll try to, find whatever evidence I can to show this person that someone else is experiencing it as well. And I won't find anything, but I will notice high EMF. Like there was one where there was a transformer literally right outside their front door. The EMF levels were so high, and it was starting to make me feel sick. So a lot of stuff is like, oh yeah. But they say over a long time it can affect you more. I was there for, 8 hours, and I started to feel sick from it. Or, I can't say that it was from that, but I did start to feel sick while I was
Actually, that makes me think. I wonder if James is like that.
Sensitive?
Yeah, since he doesn't talk about it, he's very anti-sensitive type of person. Like I don't feel, but I mean he feels energies, but he's very like very like, how do I put that? Like he's very strong, and Aries like very like manly and stuff like that. But so I don't know if he even realizes it, because if you think about it, like I wonder that's why he passes out and stuff like that. Like he doesn't pass out normally. Unless there's like a high EMF field and then he passes out. I wonder if that's connected.
Okay, something interesting was just pointed out. So, damn it, what
I
said
fast.
damn it.
Oh, it's okay. We're past the first 30 seconds. We're fine.
So,
we're not even getting monetized. What are you
a
talking
Gray
about?
Phantom says, for Leo, I'd strongly recommend he research infrasound.
I will do that.
If you guys like, I can send a message on your IG and link you to a good video on it. I would really appreciate that. That would be awesome.
Yes, please.
He said, ghost sightings can be attributed to the natural phenomenon of infrasound. And that being the case, if we could find a way to go to these places that there are claims of hauntings and somehow test for infrasound, I'm not sure how to test for such a low frequency, but
well, that would make sense.
I'm sure there are ways. I don't know personally how to do it.
Yeah.
That would be a good way to test stuff in debunking claims and helping people out. If we can find out that there's infrasound in their area and it's making them wonky, that might help.
I agree with that.
Let's see. Mary McDowell says, what about plane walking? Like, these beings can go between planes? Possible?
I don't know. It depends if you're talking about like cryptids, humans, just both. Because I mean, astral plane walking has been seen by a lot of humans, done by a lot of humans. Obviously, not enough to where it goes back into the whole paranormal sense. It's hard to kind of prove it to others who haven't experienced it themselves. So I don't know if that's what you're talking about, or if you're talking about like a certain creature that can just do that naturally. I'm a little confused.
I think if you're looking at the field of the paranormal,
Right.
and you kind of accept that that ghosts exist or that spirits exist, then it's not a far stretch to accept that different planes of existence exist, and that they can walk through it. I think you don't have to believe in it, but I think if you're already so into I'm talking to you directly, apparently.
Oh, okay.
I'm
listening.
If you're already so into stuff like the paranormal, then you probably shouldn't count out any possibility. That being said, I don't think you should jump to conclusions.
I agree with that. Actually, I agree with that in like a normal stance, even like not in a paranormal stance. Just keep an open mind about everything. You can be skeptic, you can be unskeptic. You can take in everything. Just keep an open mind about everything. There are a lot in this world that we know today that we didn't know 60 years ago, or say that's dumb, that's impossible. and now we do it today.
Yeah.
Keep an open mind because there are unlimited possibilities that can happen. Obviously, they might not happen today, or maybe they are and we just don't know it. Just keep an open mind about like life in general. I feel like is the best thing to say. I mean, obviously it's your life, do what you want, but that's just how I see it.
Octavia Firestorm says, I'm a strong believer in the paranormal. I personally believe that there is science behind it.
Agreed.
We just don't understand the science yet, but that's my opinion.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm kind of along the same way. Look, I can't discount any possibility. Even looking at just how marvelous the universe is. The Big Bang Theory happened. Or, the Big Bang is supposed to have happened. I guess it's a theory, so I can't say that it has.
Right.
But it's widely accepted to have happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even something as simple as that is mind-blowing. You know, it puts me in awe. So I don't want to discount anything.
I agree with that.
So, and I do believe if stuff in paranormal fields exists, that it does exist in a scientific way that can be explained eventually, that we just couldn't do it now.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
So Octavia Firestorm says science can confirm and prove 9 dimensions, if I'm remembering that right. I'm not sure about that. I do remember something about rainbow gravity, which was interesting to read about, but I mean, I'll take your word for it. 9 dimensions.
I would like to, if you have an article on that, I'd love to read that.
Dimensional meaning
like
parallel planes of existence, right? Like, because
we're talking. Oh, you mean like neighboring parallel?
I'm not sure. So, if you talk about 9 dimensions, you could talk about like the 3 dimensions of space, the 4th dimension of time, and further dimensions like that. I'm not sure if that's what it is or if it's.
And is it like limited to like my question? This isn't for you directly, but my question for the thought process is that like 9 dimension around us or 9 dimension in total? Because I know the multi theory has been like pretty close to proven. So multi-dimensional. Sorry, I can't think right now. Multiverse, like basically like there's every time there's as something changed in the world, like dramatically another universe is created. Like
I don't think it's been proven.
No, but I meant like
a many worlds theory.
I guess we'll forget that because
There's
a lot that's
many worlds that are like sort of like yours, but they're slightly off.
Different, like a one filled with squirrels instead of people.
Yeah. Mary McDowell says, I mean, EVP, video technology, etc. has allowed us a door. Maybe we can start to respect there is a way that we can enter and leave. It's possible.
Agreed.
And here's the thing. There's a lot of people that are skeptics, and I'd say rightfully so. Not everyone is as open to the possibility.
That's fair.
Not saying that they're closed people.
Right.
But I think it takes believers, even people with blind belief, to find out. You know, if we never question it and just leave it alone,
then we'll never know.
We'll never know, especially if the evidence isn't right in your face.
I agree with that.
A Gray Phantom says, I am a skeptic, but the time to believe in something is when there's sufficient evidence. That's why I ask what ghosts are made out of. If it's energy, then whatever energy they are made out of can be converted into electricity. Boom, free energy.
It's possible, but trying to enslave a spirit, if, you know, you say you're a skeptic, and that's fine, that's totally fine. If you say that we can convert spirits into energy, would you, as a person, say this, just hypothetically, you die, you become a ghost, would you want to become just someone's battery? Like, that's just a question? I mean, just like hypothetical.
I think the question is more of if we can, not if we should.
Oh, okay.
But could we? I have no idea, and that's the thing.
That is a good idea.
The question, what are ghosts made out of? What are ghosts made of? I don't know. It's really hard to say.
It is very, like, it's hard because it's like, you can't prove it, but you can at the same time, because when we know we're talking to a spirit, and I'm talking EVPs, EMFs, you know, spirit, but all that jazz and all of it working together, when we can tell that it's being picked up by EMFs. We can tell from the tools we use, it's being used by electromagnetic fields. That is what we use to read. I mean, we use other things as well. We know there's some spirits that mess with magnitude. There are some that mess with clocks, which can be used from electricity and stuff. There are some that mess with different things. Does that mean there are different types of ghosts? We don't know. Does that mean that there are different, ways that they could talk with? We don't know. They could be using a different matter than energy that we don't understand, but from what we gather today, we can see that it's energy from using electronics. So saying that, if the energy of the spirit is made of can be converted to electricity, I would go yes and no. It could be converted into electricity. It could be converted into like a battery or electricity. Reason being is because it's almost like negative energy, but a negative energy that's seen in a positive way. It's really weird to confuse. Let me describe. So when spirits use energy, it's like they're pushing out energy, right? Because that's how we pick it up. But when that energy touches something, it's like it drains it, right? So when you have a battery or an EMF, I've never had a spirit give energy. It might happen. I've never had it. I've had it take it. Now, if the spirit is intelligent enough, I assume it might be able to. But as for like stories that I've known, articles that I've read and stuff, I've never read where a spirit can, give energy. I've seen where spirits can get messed up by magnets, and heard about it, where like say you have a positive magnet, it can like basically mess with the EMFs in that structure by like bringing all the EMFs in the area together if it's a strong enough magnet, or the opposite, which is negative, which spreads them out.
Spooky action.
Thank you.
That's
spooky action. I kept saying eerie. Spooky action. Look that up, Gray Phantom. Spooky action.
I'm sure Gray Phantom knows this.
Yeah, he probably does.
He sounds like a...
He knows his science.
Yeah.
You're making it difficult right off the bat.
Darn you. No, I will say this. If you take the idea of ghosts out of the equation, paranormal investigators have been able to gather data, patterns of electrical energy, EMF, electromagnetic fields, things that seem to be moving freely. Normally an electromagnetic field would have to have a source point.
Yeah.
I can't talk, but you see these fields moving or whatever. We do have data of weird happenings that could be very hard to explain.
There is, and I don't know what the article is, but if you can find it, definitely send it to me. There is an article where it was a not investigator, was a parascientist, was the ones, what they call in UK, where they study a lot of like paranormal.
Like a parapsychologist?
Parapsychologist. There was one who went and tried to like prove, he was a very high skeptic. So it wasn't someone going in believing in ghosts. He was a very high skeptic trying to prove it for himself. And I might be paraphrasing this a lot, but basically he brought in an EMF detector, like a giant EMF detector or something, to pick up to see electromagnetic waves. And he went into houses that were known to be haunted and had hauntings happen, and to houses that had no hauntings recorded and was cleansed or whatever, just completely empty. And he would go in and find that all the haunted houses had way higher EMF ratings in the whole house compared to the ones that didn't. And from my knowledge, they were very close houses. It's not like this was older, so it had looser electricity, or this was newer and was built different. From what I know of the article, they were very similar built houses, and he would test them all and find that all the ones that were haunted had more EMFs throughout the whole house. Not just like a little bit, like the whole house had more. So take that as you will. I just thought it was an interesting topic to bring up at this moment. So look up the article. I'm sorry, I couldn't really give you the name of the person or anything, but that's one that was told.
Let's see. Mary McDowell says, I know there's a clip on YouTube that highlighted the time of conception, gas, a large zinc charge. But most spiritual people would agree that it's the spirit of a person being created or charging off the soul.
So I've seen
I don't know why
stuff
that was
like
so
that.
hard for me to read.
So the way I've always read it, it's almost hard to capture on video. I've heard people taking pictures of it the right moment, but it's where they basically, it's, you know how when somebody dies, their body weighs like 0.08 less when between the time of life and death.
Yeah.
And it's not, and that's after taking out the whole feces and all the the sweat, so like after weighing it out and stuff like that.
Like
it was
unaccounted for percentage of
yeah.
body weight that it weighs.
Apparently, so the way I read it in another article, basically, people have been trying to take pictures of the soul leaving the body, and it moves at the speed of light almost, so it's like almost impossible to catch. But, and again, I could be wrong on this. This is just from what I was reading. And this isn't just Facebook articles, alright guys? But it's like what she said, that kind of gastric form, like coming out of a person and leaving, and people are saying that that's the soul leaving the body, and some people are saying it's the uncounted for body part that's being left, that's coming out of the body. Either way, I don't know. Again, that's just knowledge that I've read.
Yeah. I've heard of that, but I haven't dove too deeply into that. I don't know much. I think that's my whole issue, is I don't know much.
I think the problem is I know things and you know things, but we know different things.
Right.
Like, I'm really thinking about getting a marshmallow.
You want a marshmallow?
Yeah.
That's what we decided ghosts are made of. I forgot about
marshmallows.
That.
I know.
Marshmallows.
We were gonna tell ghost stories. We were talking science this whole time. I'm warped. No, I'm glad. Honestly, I'm not complaining. It's actually interesting because I haven't really got to have these like conversations in a while, so I'm really rusty, and I apologize for that.
So a Grey Phantom said, "I've heard that the experiment with weighing the soul isn't reliable, and the results can't be replicated."
That's fair. I was just giving off knowledge that I've been told. I don't.
That's true. We're looking at. I mean, the paranormal field isn't one that deals in certainty, and that's the issue. Like, if you do an experiment that relies on the participation of another being, and you can't see the person with your eyes, you can't hear the person, you don't even know if they've decided to agree to do the experiment. You just kind of have to assume.
Yeah,
that.
I think like some of the first gastric ones, when they started really noticing, and like, I mean, they've done scientific tests like that, but like the ones that got really popular are the ones that like, I don't know if it was real or fake. I didn't really dive deep into it, but it was the one where a car crash just happened and it was in front of like a CCTV camera, and like when it happened, like something comes out of the body. I've seen that. Again, I mean, we've seen CG and stuff like that, and so it could have been faked, but the thought process that it could be real is interesting. That's the one that got really like well known for a bit.
Are those the people across the street? Man, their voice carries. We've got to be like,
I don't hear anything.
200 yards away.
No, we're like a mile away.
From across the street?
Well, you gotta think. Let's see. Driveway is 900 feet long.
Okay, a mile is over 5,000.
So, yeah, I was close. No, but I'm trying to think of like angle and stuff like that too. Because that's that way, and they're way that way. I don't know, even if I don't hear anything. I'm supposed to have the good hearing.
I mean, it could just be in my head.
Voices.
I think a lot of stuff happens in my head.
Ghost.
Ghosts. Marshmallow fluff happens in my head.
So, I'm getting marshmallows. You continue the conversation.
Mary McDowell says, as humans, we are always going to look for ways to explain the unexplainable.
Exactly. And that is really strong, I think. Like,
yeah. Because
that can go either way. Right? That can go in a, like, if you're on the ghost spectrum, like everything's ghost, you know, on that kind of spectrum, you're going to find ways to, like, you know, find out what it is. But if you're on the opposite side of the spectrum with the like, okay, I've seen where, like, how do I put it? I've seen where there was no balance, there was no like leverage, there was no wind, there was nothing, and something being thrown off the top of a bookshelf, right? Like about 10 feet, right, at somebody. And in my head, it was easier to make sense to say, oh, a spirit did that, you know, and try and find ways that it did that and try and debunk it and try and figure it out. But then there was a skeptic that was there that tried his hardest, tried his hardest to say it was science. There are two sides of the coin. You can be skeptic and you can be a believer and you can be both, and that's fine. But there are definitely two sides of the spectrum of it. You've got ones that are like, oh, that was a ghost. No reason needed. Like, no, you need to debunk it, you need to figure it out. That goes with science as well. If, you know, you're looking for a scientific form, which science and paranormal are side by side, if not one, we just try and put different words to it. The problem is that people like, there's also the other side of the spectrum where it's like, well, because of the world, the gravitational pull turned a little bit, just enough for that book to go flying off, and it caused rotation to fall flying. Like, I've seen people do that. That's not me just being like over-exaggerating. I've seen people like try and go from the gravitational to the earth, and the way the windage could have carried it just enough to where it'd fly that way, and have the, you know, have the world rotate just enough that very second. I've seen people do that.
I think the first explanation is not always the right explanation.
Yes.
That goes both ways.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah. And I'm not saying one is wrong and the other one's right. I'm just saying it goes both ways.
So, a Gray Phantom said, hey, Leo, I just sent you all the link to the video. Oh, darn chat. It keeps moving.
That's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing, but I just sent you all the link to the video on infrasound on your IG. So, we should have a link to the video in our messenger on Instagram. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I will look that up later, definitely.
Octavia Firestorm said, to me, this is a lot of fun and enjoyable. Not many people I personally know are even remotely interested in these things, but it's super interesting to me.
Awesome. We hope to do this a lot more and kind of talk with you guys more, and hopefully have moments like this a lot. You know, I hope that'd be in like more haunted areas too, like maybe like how some of like the locations we go to, I think would be really fun. But we'll have to see. But I hope to do this more.
Yeah. A Gray Phantom said, my car is powered by ghosts. Science is going to try to explain it with words like gasoline.
I wish my car was powered by ghosts.
But that's because they're trying to explain it.
That's what I'm saying. And I wish my car was powered by ghosts. I don't have to pay for gas anymore. It might never break down. It's just goes.
So, okay, I can't think of the words for the stuff. Oh my goodness. It's not false equivalency. Maybe it is false equivalency. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. You probably know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
Darn. Basically, it's not the same thing. No.
I wasn't sure what you were going at.
It's not, like, we already know what powers a vehicle. We designed the vehicle that way.
Oh, but like, yeah, we didn't design ghosts, so we can't really say how a ghost runs.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So we, like, sure, you could say that ghosts power your vehicle, but we already know it's gasoline because we designed it that way. We didn't design life.
Or did we? Lizard people.
I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
I'm gonna go get the marshmallows. Do you want anything?
No. Mary McDowell says, I mean, personally, I've always thought, are they out here?
No, they're at the garage.
They're at the garage?
Yeah.
You gonna leave me out here, boy?
Well, you have a thing, don't you?
I don't have a flashlight.
Oreo? Oreo, you a guy out here.
I ain't trying to mess with none of these coyotes.
Cover this because apparently you can't have it on YouTube.
Okay.
And here's a flashlight.
Thank you.
If you die, get it on camera. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I'll probably die because they'll sneak up behind me.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Mary McDowell says, I mean, personally, I've always thought that the most things we come in contact with are not human spirits. They're all spiritual beings. I mean, Christians have been warned not to mess with the paranormal. However, when it happens, or you are exposed, it's a little hard not to pay attention. Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I think once you experience it for yourself, you know the difference. For me, it's a lot like having Hell's Itch. I don't know if you know what Hell's Itch is. people don't believe it's that bad. They're like, oh, you're itching because of sunburn. But once you experience it, that's when you know the difference. I think a lot of the time it has to happen like that. Let's see. The Gray Phantom says, being a skeptic isn't about inserting an explanation when you don't know why something happened. When you don't know why something happened, you say, I don't know. Yeah, that's fair. Mary McDowell says, it does make you wonder, though, if we have found a way to talk to loved ones. However, we don't know all the time what we are talking to. Yeah, I think if you're talking to anything invisible, I mean, you couldn't say anything for certain. And that is kind of what's scary. Although, I think with spirits, a lot of the time people say that they feel their loved ones. Like they have a memory of how it felt to be around them. Let's see. The Gray Phantom says, and when you don't know, you leave the room to learn. Let's see. Also says, you're right, sir. We do know how cars work. However, when we don't know how something works, why label it with ghosts? Why not just say, I don't know? I think ghosts is one avenue of it. Rather than saying, I don't know, it's sort of giving an explanation to something that maybe you don't have definitive answers to, but at least it gives you a route to follow.
Right. I think when it comes to like ghost hunting and stuff, we find a lot of things that kind of lead into, like, okay, so there are throughout time in the past
Fallacies. Thank you. Sorry.
from the past like 200 years, I think is like actually for as long as we know, history is always written about spirits. It's always explained in their way of religion and like civilizations. There's always been written of spirits, you know, of some kind. You know, maybe not a lot, maybe a little bit, or a ton. The thing is, though, is that they explain how they've experienced spirits, and a lot of them experience it in the same way, to the point to where when we're experiencing something, we relay it on how they've experienced it, to the point to where our knowledge goes into what their knowledge is. Yeah, there's not a lot of science we can put down on it, but they've experienced it. We've experienced it the way they are, so it's easier to say it's a ghost than saying I don't know.
You're not in frame.
That's fine. I'm getting this ready. I was just kind of saying.
Okay.
Yeah, like you know, it's.
Well, he says, that's why I use the car as an example. Just because you don't know how something works doesn't mean you fill in that gap with the bigger mystery. Otherwise, you risk falling into the argument from ignorance fallacy. I suppose that's true. I think for me, it's less of an argument, though.
Yeah.
It's more questioning. And you know why I do it? I'm not going to sit here and tell you that ghosts are real. I can tell you that I think they are. I believe most likely they are. But I'm not going to tell you they are, and I'm not going to tell you that you have to believe that. Right. I'm not going to pretend to have any evidence that will convince you of that. But I am going to go looking. And the people who look aren't doing it out of like hatred, like the feel that they need to. You know, they want to do it. So, you know, there's no. I don't see where the issue is with it. If it's not harming anybody, let them do their own searches, and maybe they find something that might surprise you.
Like I said, we thought things 60, 100, even 30 years ago that we thought were stupid we use today. I mean, hell, before computers really got as big as they are, people used to think it was a dumb thing to invest in computers. Now look at us. We use them all the time. Like, we think it's, and then before that, we thought the idea of computers were impossible. And now look at us. You know.
Let's see. Octavia said, yeah, I don't know what the truth is, but I'd love to find out.
Exactly.
Isn't life about the journey?
Fuck! Oh.
Yeah, it is. A Gray Phantom says, right, Octavia. And then says, ghosts don't give you a route to follow. That is the explanation. That is a limiter. I don't know is the route to follow. I don't know. I think that is the route that I follow. I think there are people who follow the direct ghost route, which I don't have a problem with. I feel like a lot of the time the truth is in the middle, right? So I say, I don't know. Someone says ghosts. Someone else says, no, ghosts don't exist. I think having different sides to it are important.
Yeah, if you don't, like we said earlier, if you don't question it, you'll never understand. So it's good to see from all angles until you figure it out. You can't expect going into it, you're going to get the 100% answer because right now we don't have the technology to be able to give you the 100% answer. But we can get enough to where we can figure out what we feel like or what we know, or, you know, every, theory comes from a or every, understanding came from a hypothesis of an area of not knowing.
Yeah.
So if you don't question it, you'll never find the answer.
Let's see. Aaron McDowell says, I mean, we were all dying, pun intended, to get to that point.
Yeah. Yep.
It would be neat being able to write memoirs when we are dead and pass them to the living. Like, hey, I can still see/hear you. That would freak people out.
What?
Writing something to the living from the dead.
Isn't there a way to do that?
There's something called ghostwriting. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I haven't done it. I know I've had people come to us and say they want to do it with us, but I don't know enough to where I could be like, oh, I missed all the marshmallow.
You want some marshmallow?
No, thank you. I'm good, thank you. Please. Every Phantom says, because it leaves things open to explore. Then says, wait, you think that ghosts are real, but you then say there is no evidence.
I don't say that.
I said that.
Oh.
But I didn't exactly say that. That's not word for word. I said there's no evidence that's likely to convince someone who's already convinced that ghosts aren't real.
Mm-hmm. Like the stuff we put up, everything we put up, we believe is evidence. EVPs.
I didn't say that exactly either, but that's...
No, that's what I'm
saying.
saying.
That's what I meant. Though.
Oh. Like, we see that as evidence. If you take it as evidence, if you don't take it as evidence, that's on you. We see it as evidence, so we're sharing it with you so you're entertained, so you see what we've seen. And we're doing our best to try and help you see what we've seen. And if you don't, that's fine. This tastes like bug spray. But, what I'm getting at is, there is... I thought about the bug spray because this more tastes like bug spray, and I totally forgot what I was getting at.
I don't know. I do want to address something though.
Yeah.
Apparently, a Gray Phantom is questioning ghosts. I didn't know. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh.
I'm not trying to be an ass or anything. I'm trying to be playful.
I was really confused. I was like, wait, what? Oh, that's fair. He's looking to us find the answer, but I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. There's no way we can give you the answer you're looking for until you find it yourself. So until you go start searching out there for yourself to find the answer, and if you never find the answer, then I guess that's your answer, right? But until you experience something for yourself, you'll never truly believe it, even if the proof is in front of you. Or if someone shows you the proof, I guess I should say. So that's, I don't know. The way I see it is you can't fully understand something until you see it yourself.
Frogs are going off. Seriously, stop tempting me. You are the devil.
I've been called that before.
I'm on a diet. He's trying to get me to eat marshmallows. Which I'm sure I could have a few.
What is your desire?
But I don't think I could have a few. I think I'd have one and go freaking nuts.
Look.
I already had a Red Bull.
I've had 3 today. I cut off sugar.
Here.
And look at me.
You can take the phone.
I got a mouthful.
I've had the phone for forever.
You're better at answering than I am. You have a friendlier face.
I do not have a friendlier face. My face is ugly.
I just missed my mouth entirely.
I love it.
Oh, God. God.
Oh, what do I step on?
My chocolate.
Is it?
No, you step on your spray
Oh,
can.
that's my body spray.
Oh. For your makeshift. Look,
It's becoming a mess over here.
look, I put it over here because I thought you'd want some.
You started making s'mores,
I know, but I
and
want...
now everything is a wreck.
When is the last time we've had s'mores?
Look at this. The live stream went off the rails now. I think it's been off the rails.
It's since, like...
But I like it off the rails.
God, I can't fit my mouth. Got it. All right. Oh, shoot. All right. So the widgets look like they're not really working a lot, so I'm gonna have to like fix that down the road. Okay. I'm sorry. There's a lot here. I personally had some. Which one did you stop on? I personally had some weird fairy experiences in my life. If you were me, I'd bet you would wonder if those things were real as well. Exactly. I mean, that's how I am. I've had a lot of really heavily personal things. I wanted to go through with those tonight. We're just kind of sticking with chat, so I think we should kind of like do like a storytelling time here in a minute. Just kind of tell some of our experiences and stuff like that. We've answered a lot of chat.
Take this over there. This.
And you can just put it on the ground. I'll clean it. But like we've had a lot of experiences too, and I agree with you. You know, I can say that if you've experienced a lot in your life, you'd wonder if they're real too, because I've done that. I have done where I've done a lot of things. What?
I'm about to do something bad.
We're not getting monetized anyway, so.
Well, that's not. I'm about to do something bad for my health.
It's cigarettes. It's not drugs.
Well, I don't know. It's got nicotine in it.
Well, you know what I mean. For sponsor reasons down the road. Must cigarettes sponsor us?
I don't know if they can legally.
Can they?
I mean, maybe.
They can sponsor you.
It's not technically.
I quit smoking like full cigars and cigarettes.
You know what? Maybe they could, but then the video would have to be
18 or older.
Yeah.
I can see that. Or we just now get truth ads.
But I don't know if they'd ever even bother.
Yeah. I don't know. I know Marlboro. I don't know. But like, exactly. I feel the same way.
Mature stream now, because there's people doing adult things. No, okay. There's people smoking. That's not adult things, like what you normally see on the internet.
I won't let you dig this hole.
That's a different adult
No,
thing.
I won't let you dig this hole. But I agree with you, Octavius Firestorm. I do.
I think a Gray Phantom has been helping keep this lively.
Thank you, I'm glad.
This discussion lively. Not only has he been helping us.
Who? I'm sorry.
A Gray Phantom.
Oh, yeah.
Not only has he been helping us move the live stream along, but also he's helping to entertain people in the chat. The people in the chat are talking to him back and forth. I think it's great.
I agree with that. I think it's interesting because I didn't expect it to go like this, so it's kind of interesting. My brain was on a different wavelength, so I've been trying my best to like answer your questions the best I can. I think some of the answers that you want to hear we might not be able to give you, but we're gonna try our damnedest.
Yeah. I think if you're looking to be convinced, that's probably not going to happen. I don't think we can convince anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Leo, you presenting. Leo, be nice and supportive of your buddy. He's on a diet. He looks fine.
Thank you.
Look.
I do not look fine.
Look.
Okay,
you helped me cut off sugar in my life, and look at me today. I drank 3 Red Bulls and had sugar marshmallows, and like, before this, I have had like barely any sugar. You've helped me. It is a cheat day. I'm here for you.
It's not my cheat day, okay? I'm not your weight. My cheat day happens when I look like you, which will never happen because I'm just a large person. But that's not the point.
He said cigarettes are technically vegan. Unless you count about the rat particles, if you get like the cheap cigarettes, like where they say, you know, like Pall Malls, like gather like the rat feces and stuff. But like, I never thought of it before.
I feel less bad thinking about it like that. Cigarettes are technically
It's
vegan.
okay to smoke. Nobody's perfect, dude, said Octavia.
Thank you, Octavia. I appreciate the support of my bad habit. That doesn't make you a terrible person. I'm sorry.
Where are you camping at? I'm in Vegas. We're currently being haunted by spooky grasshoppers.
That is, you know, it's not the worst kind of haunting. It's a bit noisy.
I feel like that's what, yeah, we're in southern Ohio. We're currently being haunted by a mix of grasshoppers and frogs for days.
Yeah.
Like, see, I'm not smoking cigarettes, I'm smoking vape.
Vape is really cool. I like vapes because I like the cloud. I'm an image guy, you know? So, not that I'm concerned about my image. Why do I have to dive so deep into explaining?
Look, I do the same thing, just in different directions.
I like the way stuff looks. And I think vape smoke, vape clouds, I guess. Is it smoke? It's vapor.
Yeah, it's vapor. It's glycerin vapor
Yeah, it's
and
vapor.
like flavoring. Or glycerin water and.
It looks amazing. As a matter of fact, our short that we did, John Cross, one of the opening shots, maybe the opening shot? I don't remember.
Oh, we haven't really talked about John Cross much on Zodiacs.
We shot that, and I used your vape to blow the vapor across the hood, so it looked
like fog.
Foggy.
Yeah, that was really cool. We did. I think it's actually still going. We did on the road mic competition. We did a video called John Cross. We were trying to, like I said, we're trying to do funding right now to get better supplies, more supplies. Like I said, this camera was $1,000. We're trying to get another one. But obviously that's not up to like the viewers or anything. It's just any dollar that you can spare helps us. So we have like that Streamlabs / Zodiac Supernatural and Patreon going on right now. Which with Patreon there are rewards and we're trying to get that better. But anyways, what I'm getting at is we did John Cross to try and win some equipment, like cameras and stuff. So that way anything that we get will be more entertaining for you guys, because more cameras mean more angles, means being able to see more things. Getting a bit more equipment means being able to try and get more evidence. We're trying, you know, but of course, if not, we're gonna use what we have. You know, we're not gonna quit because we don't have enough. But what we're doing right now is that, and it's a really good video. Everyone who showed it loved it so far.
I like it.
I love it. I want to do more John Cross as a side project. I
don't think it's likely to win, but I really enjoyed making it and I enjoyed watching it.
I had a lot of fun just shooting it and acting in it and just, I don't know, it's a lot of fun.
Do we want to tell them to check it out later?
Yeah. I'd like to put the link in the description if I can, but it's going to be, I think it's like roadmic.com and go to competitions and then search for John Cross.
It's on like the 3rd or 4th page down.
Yeah.
You know.
You'll see my face in the thumbnail. Yeah,
you'll see his his torso and his face.
In a suit like thing. It's cool. It was a lot of fun to do. If I had the video pulled up on the computer, I could transfer it over, but that computer's way over there.
I know we've kind of moved away from paranormal discussion, but not really, because John Cross does sort of involve the paranormal if you're interested.
Yeah.
I think it's funny. You have to sit through some
dialogue,
some stuff first, but it becomes funny.
It's a 3-minute video, so if you have 3 minutes of your life, go check it out.
It's a whole big setup to one great punchline that I thought was great.
Yeah. If you vote for us, that's another vote for us to try and get some equipment and stuff. Honestly, I just enjoy doing it. The equipment is a bonus. We actually just, I don't know, we love doing that kind of thing, I guess, is what I was getting at.
Yeah. And I love taking pictures too.
Oh yeah, he's a photographer. We were gonna talk to you guys a little bit about personal stuff too, because we hit
I think
5.
Fair they get to know us.
Yeah, they've never really got to know us. We've hit 500 subscribers. Actually,
600.
Almost 600 subscribers on YouTube today, and we wanted to we've been wanting to do something special for the 500. We hit almost 16 on TikTok, and 1,200 on. Almost 1,300 on Instagram, and we wanted to take the time because we haven't really got to really show us or explain us. You know, he's a photographer. Actually, while I read some of these, I want to physically read some of these comments. But if you want to tell a little bit about your photography,
I take photos. I don't know how much more there is to say about that. They're
really good photos.
They're okay photos. Excuse me. They're super stylized. If you like sort of dramatic, contrasty photos, that's the kind of photos I take. I really enjoy doing that, and I don't think there's much more to say about my photography. I really like doing it. You can follow me on Instagram if you want.
It's Roger Cottle.
At Roger_Cottle.
And that answers your name. What is the guy's name? Octavia asked, "What's your name?" Your name is Roger Cottle.
My name is Roger Cottle. His name is not.
My name is not Roger Cottle. She said in the hat, so.
Oh.
I assumed it was you.
Sorry about the hat. I'm getting real conscious, insecure.
Why, you look fine. I'm looking at you here.
I'm insecure about everything. Not just my looks, but mostly my looks. Thank you for the compliment, by the way.
You're welcome. I gotta add some fuel to the fire here in a minute. 609 subscribers, says a Great Phantom. That's awesome. Like, recently we've been getting more and more, and we appreciate everyone that's showed up. And we've been trying our hardest to keep getting like stuff out there, stuff that's entertaining, stuff that's fun, and really trying our hardest. Because obviously not every location is going to have get a spook in it or nothing, but like we try our best to like make it entertaining, even if we don't get a spirit, because we only show what we capture. We don't add anything, we don't fake anything, we keep everything as real as we can. And if we miss it on camera, we miss it, so that's why we try and keep the camera running at all times. And we do our best, and we're trying our best to keep going. It's getting difficult because a lot of the areas are wanting money and stuff, so we're trying to find some locations that are very interesting that...
Hope you can't see pit stains in the infrared when I lift my arm up.
Nope, you're good. You can see the fire bouncing off of it.
I just got this thing in my head with Octavia Firestorm.
Pass, I gotta put fire on the fuel. Go on.
Put fire on the fuel.
Fire on the fuel.
That's not going to end well. So,
Just fire on the fuel can.
no, I've got this. I'm thinking of the name Octavia Firestorm, right? And I'm seeing like this Sailor Moon transformation that just like fire explodes and
Like,
it's like Octavia Firestorm. I don't know.
it sounds like a
It's
badass
weird
move
stuff.
or something. I don't know.
By the way, I've never watched Sailor Moon. I've just seen Sailor Moon transformations on the internet.
You should watch Sailor Moon. It's good for you.
I think I'm too old to get into Sailor Moon.
Listen, I'm not sure, honestly.
So a Great Phantom. Oof, Southern Ohio. I lived there for a few months back in 2017. Worst humidity I've ever experienced.
Agreed.
The weather is terrible here and never knows what it wants to be. And it's super humid out tonight. Like, I feel sticky.
It's better now than it has been, because it's either been storming with thunderstorms or so hot that you don't want to go outside. And it's not even like sun hot. It's like you said, humidity.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
It's, let's see. A Great Phantom also says, I take photos. Best description ever of a photographer. Thank you. I like to, I know my brand.
I take photos. It's fine.
Let's see. A Great Phantom following you now on IG, Roger. Thank you so much. Oh, that's awesome. I, like, seriously, I can't ever believe when I actually get a follower. So, I'm about to get real giddy. So, thank you. I would love for you to see my stuff and let me know what you think about it. And also, if you have any ideas of stuff you'd like to see from me, like photo ideas, I could
I want him to take more photography of us. I think it's gonna
photos.
be. Actually, like, all the photos that you see of us are usually taken by him. He does a really good job.
Like, I have sometimes I edit them together to make like our banner and stuff, and they don't give the photos justice. He does a really good job.
I would do a better job if I had a calibrated monitor, but I don't. And it is what it is, Until I can start making money from it, I'm not gonna have a calibrated monitor.
Right.
Just keep at it. You'll get there.
Hopefully, eventually. It's been what?
2 weeks since you looked. Sorry.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me.
1 week since you looked at me. Sorry.
What was I saying?
It
I'm gonna keep at it. I think I've been doing it for 2 years now.
Yeah.
But
you've been off
and
and
half
on.
the time I didn't have a camera, so I'm using like cell phones and that sort of thing, which isn't bad. It's just a little harder to work with.
Yeah. You've done a good job. I think you have, even with cameras.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Octavia Firestorm says, LOL, thanks guys. I've never watched Sailor Moon, but have you watched the 100? It's a really good show. Also, my stream is a little slow, so sorry. I'm a little slow as well. As far as reading and catching up to stuff.
Yeah, definitely. If you are having streaming issues, refresh the page. I know bitrate's an issue, so if you refresh the page, a lot of times that refreshes your network. Our network should actually be faster at this time of night, so what it does is that the stream doesn't catch up quick enough, so refresh the page. It may be us. Like I said, this is our first time, so could be because we've been going on for so long.
So, A Great Phantom says, I have something I'd like you to see.
Wait. I've not seen 100, but I've heard it's really good and I want to see it. Okay, go on.
Well, the 100 is actually a pretty good show.
You've seen it?
Yeah. Watch it with Amanda. Let's see, I want you to actually fake ghost pictures, but disclose when you do. The best debunkers are those that know how to trick an audience. That's actually something that I've talked about before, is trying to do fake ghost stuff. I do videos as well, and we've discussed me potentially doing fake ghost stuff where I would disclose, hey, this has been faked, that sort of stuff, but just to make some cool things and show that it can be done. Let's see. Harry Houdini made it his life's mission to debunk and expose frauds and fake psychics. Cool.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, people are harmless, but I do think there are those who would take advantage of others.
There are those that could take advantage of others. Like,
and in those cases, it's definitely very, like, most of the time, you can leave people alone and let them do what they do, but it's very important to call those people out who are going to take advantage.
I agree with that. Like, there are people out there who do generally try and help. There are people that do know what they're talking about, but there are frauds out there. You can, when you start discovering the realms that they're trying to fraud and stuff, you start noticing what is fake and what is real. So definitely take your time to try and, learn those types of people, but there are frauds out there that tell you to live your life in a direction that you would not normally go, and it could actually cause physical harm.
Yeah.
So I would definitely keep an open mind.
It's important to keep an eye out for stuff like that, and if you see something harmful, do call it out. And that's why I do love skeptics, because they're the first usually to call out when
Trying to get away from that lens flare, trying to cause less of a lens flare. Go on.
Oh yeah, the flame's a little bigger now.
Yeah.
They're usually the first to call out people who would do harm to others, who have ill intentions or otherwise.
I agree with that.
I think it's great. It says James Randi was a stage magician and has a long history of exposing frauds like Peter Popoff, fake evangelical healer. I actually watched a lot of James Randi stuff. I love James Randi. When you mentioned that bit about what's the harm in it, I wanted to point out the harm, but I didn't want to be difficult or argumentative. I was worried you might kick me off the stream. I don't think we're going to kick anyone off. If you see harm in it, please say something.
For what? Sorry.
In letting people...
Oh, yeah, I think we went back and talked about how it can cause harm. And
yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to having any discussion. So, something's happening with my voice right now. I think I need to clear my throat.
You need
I'm going to go away from the microphone to do it.
You need a water.
Where did I put my water?
It's over there. No, we won't kick you off the stream. We don't have moderators yet. We will in the future, so if you do get kicked off the stream, it's not our doing.
Once we have moderators, we'll kick you off then.
We will, once our Discord picks up and stuff like that, we'll have dedicated moderators and stuff like that. I know there is a Nightbot that likes to connect from Streamlabs, but I don't know if it's set up correctly. So if you do get kicked off, again, it's that, not us. On this phone, we don't have connection to our Streamlabs, so...
I mean, if you were harassing somebody or...
Yeah, I would get up I would get up and physically do it. Yeah, if you guys are caught,
other than that, there's nothing wrong with conversation.
Yeah. It's good to have discussions, like we mentioned earlier. It's good to have, try and see both sides of the argument. As long as it's civil and, we can all, we all know that we're coming from a different standpoint, as long as it's not, causing harm to somebody or, being a dick.
Absolutely. And I mean, I respect your viewpoint, and I think if I come off as maybe
offensive,
causing harm to someone or anything like that, definitely call me out.
Yeah, agreed.
Because I don't want to be that.
Same, definitely same. We're trying to still learn our presence when it comes to live streams, stuff like that. So there's still a lot we're learning, and we're trying our best. So again, keep that in mind as we venture forward. Octavia Firestorm. I think there are people to watch out for, but I agree that some people are just wanting to help, and yes, skeptics are important. Yeah, I agree with that. People to watch out for. Sorry, I spaced.
Dead Air
Great
Chicken
Phantom.
is what you're playing. You're playing Dead Air Chicken.
Dead Air Chicken.
You're being quiet long enough to make me speak.
Yeah, no, I was like thinking like super hard about that comment. Like, did I read that right? And I read it again. I'm like, wait, did I read that right? A Gray Phantom. Okay, the harm is this. Believing in unfalsified things like ghost or energy healing makes it easier for frauds and predators like Peter Popoff to prey on people. I'll let you talk.
Yeah. There are people who are super susceptible to that. I think there comes to a point in doing harm to self and doing harm to others, right? If you're someone like Peter Popoff, then you're intentionally doing harm to others. That's definitely bad, right? But if you're someone who believes something that's not true, that could do harm to you, you can tell that person about it. Sure, you can talk to that person, but they're going to make their own decisions.
I agree.
Meaning me, I'm going to make my own decision, and I make wrong decisions a lot. But
I think what I see on that is, and again, you can debate with that.
I said hi to everyone. Hi, everyone. I don't know if I said hi to you.
Oh yeah, hello everybody. Yeah, we just kind of jumped into things. It was very stressful getting things set up and everything. Like I think it's not like, I think going in and saying that there is, predators and like they're just everyone's out to get you. On that, I think is not the way to put it. I think there's two different types of people, right? There's the people that believe in healing and believe in this stuff and believe in energies who are legitimately trying to help. And they might do it wrong or they might do it right. There are legitimate people trying to help. However, there are people, like you said, there are people that can use that to become predators, to become stuff like that. And it is. But that's kind of like the flock to decide if they want to listen or not, mattering what side of the flock is. Like if someone believes in healing and believes in energies and stuff, goes into this area, if they believe enough, they should know, their own energies. They should know that, what they're saying is not law, but maybe guidance. And then you got people who don't understand it, and they go in and they can be like, oh, I see what you're saying, and go in and then cause harm. Like it goes all over the spectrum. But stating that, it can automatically cause harm, can itself cause harm, I don't know. Did you have something to go against that or debate on that?
I'm going to be completely honest, I don't know what you said.
Alright, so next comment is, you are right, some people are very sick and enjoy taking advantage of people. I agree. I'm not saying everyone is up to. Oh, okay. I see, that's why I read it like twice. I wasn't really sure what you said. That was my own fault, not what you wrote. He said he's not saying that everyone's out to get you. Okay.
Right, I think it's more of gullible people are more susceptible.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's where he's coming from. Is that thing still up here in the middle?
Yeah, it's been up there the whole time.
I don't know how to get rid of it.
I don't either.
Like, if we were actually recording on camera, it wouldn't be there. But I don't want to sit here and record the whole time we're streaming.
Right.
Because then a lot of data on the card, we can just dump it off. But I mean,
yeah, but even then it showed up in the middle. Remember?
No.
Yeah, because we hit record and it still popped up.
Did we hit record?
Mm-hmm. Because I tested it, remember, and it showed up. So even no matter what, it's still going to be there unless in a setting it says by hub you can turn this off. But I didn't see one in the setting. We're going to probably have to look it up and maybe check the programming and see what it states.
Those frogs?
What? That was a dog bark, like way back there. What you're hearing now is frogs.
That's what I was hearing.
I heard like the more.
Okay.
The frog.
Sorry. My hearing is shot, guys, so I have a hard time hearing stuff, and I'm definitely on the watch for coyotes right now.
Yeah. There you go. See, coyotes.
Yeah,
You
there
said
we go.
coyotes, and there it goes.
Wow.
It's not too far. It's down the holler.
Don't come over here, coyotes. Please don't. I mean, I know we could probably scare them away real easy, but
Yeah, I cussed at them earlier. They know what they're messing with.
oh no, he cussed. We gotta stay away.
You gotta stay away from them. I got marshmallows, so just throw marshmallows at them, and either A, they become friendly, or they attack us because we have marshmallows. Feed them chocolate. I have chocolate.
I don't think that'll work as quickly as it would need to.
You're on the watch for coyotes. Do you have any means of defending yourselves? Yeah, we've got something that YouTube doesn't like right beside us.
Yeah.
So we just try and keep it off film because YouTube really hates that. So we're doing the best we can to keep that off. I'd like,
Not to mention I've got this fan.
Oh, the fan. Yep.
The umbrella you're like, that's some dinosaur stuff. I'm sorry, I didn't even think about what that might do.
Yeah, that
to
probably
audio.
like destroyed the audio.
Ooh,
You just
I'm sorry
killed
if anyone's
everyone's
wearing
ears.
headphones or anything. It's very dinosaur-like.
Low battery for you.
Man, low
15%.
battery.
But I don't know. I say that Jesus, I just saw your fan on the live stream where you did that. It looked cool. That was the thing. I feel like that maybe we said we were gonna do some, like, the discussions kind of stopped a bit, so I feel like we can take this time to talk about, like, maybe either something about us or ghost story or something that we've dealt with. Is there anything that, like, particular pops in your mind while we're waiting, or a discussion that pops into your mind that you want to talk about?
I mean, there's that one thing.
Oh yeah, you should talk about that.
The
thing that you're
the
working
clickety
on.
clackety.
Yeah.
We're building a website.
Yay!
Yay! It's not very far along as of right now. It's one page and one blog post that
Is a test.
it's a test blog.
That's a dog.
Yeah, I recognize the dog. Excuse me. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna take some of this stuff, but
Yeah. So basically, we're getting a website built up. We're trying to create a little paranormal community around our community.
skeptics welcome.
Skeptics are welcome. Where we show, we have more detailed information with blogs about our investigations we go to. Like, maybe there'll be clips that aren't in the videos that will talk about our experiences, and we can go in more detail about that. We're gonna have more blog posts about, our equipment and why it's why we use it, and kind of go into that. We're gonna do pictures. We're gonna do like forums. We're gonna do a lot of different things we want to test out. Merch as well. If anyone wants to wear our gear, we do have a lot of ideas for merch. It'll be a bit till we get there, but we are doing our best on trying to figure out what would be useful for the audience, and we plan on, like, building a website central for, our groups or just paranormal people. Maybe a way to contact us if you want to, if you have any personal questions, other than DMs on Instagram and stuff like that. But, like, there is a lot that we can do. The website's a way for us to communicate with you in a personal sense, and that you can communicate with each other around the area. So basically, because we have TikTok, that's a community. We've got Instagram, which is another community, and then YouTube, which is another community. And we want to find a way to kind of bring that together for everyone to experience together. And right now our website's kind of the way it's directing towards, but honestly, regardless what the website brings, I'm happy that we've got one going. And and you can thank Roger for that. I know nothing about website builder, and he's done a really good job at like setting it up and getting it figured out.
You paid for it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm here for. I'm the leader. I'm the guy that points at things and pays for things.
By the way, if anybody needs a website, right now you can go to GoDaddy.com. This is not an affiliate link or anything.
Sponsor us, GoDaddy.
If you go to GoDaddy.com, they have a promo code right now. You can find it on the website. It says promos right in the top corner for hosting for $1 a month. But if you go on and pay for a year, you get a free domain with that. A free domain name with that. So for like $12.18, you can get web hosting for a year and a domain for a year.
It will be more expensive at the next year, though, so keep that in mind. It's a pricey penny, but I think it's worth it if you're really looking forward into like investing and devoting into creating one.
Did I say GoDaddy or domain?
You said GoDaddy.
It's GoDaddy. Also, if you want an SSL certificate, that's going to cost a lot more.
There's a lot of people that might not know what that is. It's basically the security certificate. Like the websites are already paid to be secure through GoDaddy, but it's a like web domain. It's like a HTTPS security that allows it. It basically is the thing in the corner that states, you know, it's this type of security. It's just a different type of security. Like I said, GoDaddy has their own, and plus websites themselves are built with them adding what, you know, hosting you're connected to.
You don't have to have it, but
just extra.
It's nice to have. It's kind of bad. Like it feels bad to have your website up on your browser and it's say not secured. What the heck?
That wasn't a coyote. That was just a normal dog. It's like super close.
Yeah, it sounds like it's like in the pasture on the other side of the woods here.
It's here loud and clear. I got the whole collection of things of YouTube. Yeah, same. He's got a whole collection of things YouTube doesn't like. Yes, same. Everything comes with time. It's good. It's all good. I would rather have good quality than rushed product. I agree with you. That's why we kind of stick with like one video a week, and like why we try and like, if you start rushing and overkilling yourself too, the quality declines, plus your mental health declines as well. So it's definitely good to keep practice, keep slow, keep going as you go. I'm getting distracted because I need to put my dog away. So give me a second.
She's still out?
Yeah, and I don't like the fact that there's coyotes. I think I have another one over here.
Okay.
Actually, let me have that one till I find the other one, and I'll give you this one back.
Alrighty.
Because I want to put her away. I bring her over here, but like we have a lot that if she moves on it, we'll actually like mess it up.
Yeah. What happens when a ghost dies?
When a ghost dies? What?
He said, what happens when a ghost dies? It's from The Grey Phantom.
Depends on
your
religion. Depends
I don't have an answer for that.
I don't have an exact answer for it. If you want a scientific answer, I've got theories, and like stuff I've read. But you know, if you want an exact answer, I can't give it to you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just I don't know anything. It's the let's see, a Grey Phantom. It's the larger one. I don't want to. It's 9. I think I'm trying not to give any sort of hints that the algorithm's gonna flag for saying, but it's the 9 one. You know. Yeah. That's what we have out here. And we have this fancy umbrella, so I think that's how. I am so utterly boring when I don't have someone to work off of. I tried doing a podcast alone. That definitely doesn't work. So maybe I should tell a joke. Hello, Roxanne Mendez. Sorry, Cody's away currently, and now he's leaving me out here. Just went inside. There'll be coyotes eating me up. I'm sorry, Cody. Cody's not here right now, but I'm here. Hello, Roxanne. Let's see. Where does a flame go when you blow out the candle? I mean, it dissipates, right? I'm not sure. Is a flame plasma? I'm pretty sure a flame is plasma, right? So I guess it just dissipates into heat energy? I have no idea. That's... darn, I feel like I'm so boring right now. So, I'm getting flustered. Okay. So, I could try and sing a song. I think that would be fun. See, now I can't think of any songs. Okay, so I'll tell you a story. So here's a little bit something about myself. I'm a Navy veteran. When I was in the Navy, we had what's called swim call, which was so fun. It's where we stop the boat in the middle of the ocean and jump off and swim around. And so I swam in the middle of the ocean, and that was a fun thing. You know, that wasn't as interesting as I thought it would be. Let's see, what's something else? I have been to college 3 times. I've been to college. Never graduated. Almost graduated the last one, but something got messed up with the funding. So, see, okay, that's not very interesting. Flames, fire. Earlier, when I walked off, I didn't say anything when I walked off. It's because I had to toot. Let's see. A fire ghost like a negative fire. That's funny. A Great Phantom says, does it create a fire ghost like a negative fire? Sure, why not? I don't think so, but who knows. Let's see. BB Gaming. I was working in a mental health unit doing security night. I saw a black shadow go past one of the cameras. Ow. I just dropped that flashlight on my foot. I mean, it didn't hurt too bad, but, you know, I definitely felt it. Sorry. That's pretty cool. Did you check to make sure that there were no people casting shadows? Because, remember, people generally scare me way more than ghosts. I don't know that that's important to you. Let's see. You were in the Navy. Do all sailors get tattoos? I didn't. Although I did get a scar on my head. I stood up underneath of a jet. Okay. That's an interesting job you have, I'll bet. Oh, that's working in the mental health unit. That is a pretty interesting job. Oh, okay. A Great Phantom said, Roger is so adorable when he's flustered.
Were you flustered?
I was flustered. You left me alone.
I had to feed the dog and put the dog away. I had to, close the garage.
But what about Roger?
Roger had it handled. You talked to us this time anyways.
I'm speaking to 5 people right now.
Yeah.
That's the largest group I've ever spoken in front of.
Alone?
That's not true.
Yeah, we've had live streams before, like not on Zodiacs, but when we used to do a gaming live stream a long time ago where we'd play Cards Against Humanity and stuff, and it was a lot of fun. We did stuff like that, but it wasn't set up like this. Like I said, this is our first time we've done this. But it was like webcam and stuff. It was very old school. It was like 4 years ago. 5.
Yeah, it was a while.
6.
We played Cards Against Humanity and talked a lot.
Just a random cast. It was fun though. It was fun. So you see, you did stuff like that. You got this. You act like you need me.
Here you go. You take that.
Yeah.
I'll just sit here and be adorable.
Interesting. So you read that one, so I'll read the one after. BB Gaming. So is that a new one we got up here? Yeah, we had to do patrol, no one there, and everyone is in the unit was asleep. I guess you guys were talking to Jim.
He works in a mental health facility.
Oh, okay.
Saw a shadow pass on the camera.
Oh, cool. That's really cool. That's really cool. That's an owl. By the way, I did hear
Every
the
noise. Every
I know.
single noise is gonna.
See, I'm used to the farm life. I'm like, it's not close enough to kill me, so.
I live in the burbs.
Yeah. So you hear like some noise, you're dead.
We have coyotes out there, but they tend to stay away because there's too many people.
See, like in the closest town next to us, literally coyotes walk in people's yards and just no one does anything. They're just there. They don't care. Cats disappear. Yeah, those are people across the street. When I went to the front yard, I could hear them. So do you want to talk about the thing we've seen back here?
Man, I'm already freaked out.
There's no reason to be. You got the non-YouTube monetizing right there. We had a fire between us. So now this is something we have seen, and there's something that we've been seeing for a while. So on top of the bipedal story we talked about earlier, we were back here, relaxing, talking under the stars and stuff. And there's a lot that's been happening back here. A lot that is hard to explain. But we have cows back here, and you can't see them because of the night vision, but when you turn around you can see the pasture. And it's a tight pasture. Like, this is a tight, narrow area for them to walk. Well, like, we have a lot of pasture around. And they were walking back and forth, and they spooked us a couple times, but nothing. Then we heard like a tree being stomped on, which in the pasture, there are like no trees. There's just a few. There's trees all around us, but like right directly behind us, there's like no trees until the woods on the other side of the pasture. And we were sitting here, and we heard a big giant tree just crunch right in half. And I'm like, oh, it's probably just a cow stepping on a branch. It's whatever. And I looked at every noise until that point. I was just like, it's whatever at this point. And he turned around and he's like, and then with his flashlight, I watched him. And there was this big giant head-like thing. I'm like, oh, it's a cow. And then I looked at the pasture, and there was the fence line by us, the pasture, the other fence line, and this giant head staring at us. Now, when I say head, I don't mean it was humanoid. I don't mean it was cow-like. I mean it was big, black, and void, except two golden eyes looking back at us. And it's about the size and shape of a cow, so when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, it's a cow. And then I realized it's not a cow, and the head shape isn't like a cow, but the eye placement was. It was like maybe like a deer-like, except deer heads are this big around here. This was like, our bull head is like this big. This thing was like this big. And I'm like, and process in my mind, like, did a cow get out? What's going on? And then this thing's already, so our posts are about, 6 feet, or I'd say 5 feet tall. This thing was about 3 feet taller than that. Yeah. And there's a ditch line on, there's like maybe enough for some brush, and a giant ditch, and then woods. And this thing was like in the ditch line. And that ditch line is taller than me. And I'm almost 6 foot. So you're saying that on top of the 2 foot above the pole, was staring back at us and had gold eyes, and it blinked, and we made a bunch of noise, we cleaned some metal together, because at first we thought it was just, we weren't sure what it was, and it just stood there and stared at us, and stared right into the flashlight, and then it looked away, and looked back at us, and then I started getting closer, and then it looked away, and it was gone, and there was like a void in the face. Like, there was enough where you could almost see a little bit of a shape. You could see the gold eyes, but it was like a void black. And we both saw it. And then, like, a week later, was it a week or 2 weeks? The thing out front.
It was 2 weeks.
2 weeks. We heard a bunch of noise that was like, didn't make sense. and we looked outside with the flashlight, like we were already outside in the front yard, just talking. And at the time, the corn wasn't up. Now we have corn taller than me, and we heard some weird noise. We shined a flashlight, and then we saw 2 gold eyes. And my cow's eyes are green and blue, so that's one thing that set us off as well. These were like gold piercing eyes, and we shined the light out, and you could see the gold eyes, and they were staring at us, and they were blinking. And when we saw them, they were like across the field, and this is a pretty big field. I can't really give you an estimation, but I'd say over 1,000 feet out. Does that sound right?
That sounds a little far.
Like 800 feet. Because I know if the driveway is 800 feet, it was like diagonal.
Yeah.
So maybe 700 feet out. It was pretty far, but we could definitely see the golden eyes, and it blinked at us. And I tried like getting closer, getting more detail with it. Now the thing is it like was, I forget if it was standing up or hunching down, but it did the opposite after that. And it wasn't like an animal getting off the ground. It was like as if it was like kind of like crouching, and then it stood up and then did this weird, like we could follow the eyes go like this, and like as if it was trying to dodge out of the light, and it was moving really fast. It wasn't like unnaturally fast, and dodged into the wooded area. Are you freaked out? Oh. and it did that. It did a really like awkward, unnatural movement. It wasn't unnaturally fast, just an unnatural movement as it went into the woods. And like there's stories, like I said, around here. Bigfoot was sighted not too far from where this is, like literally on the roadside in the late 60s, early 70s. But that was a while ago, and this wasn't no Bigfoot. This was, I mean, if I had to point anything to it, it'd definitely be Wendigo-ish, but from the stories of Wendigo, we'd probably be dead if it was. I can't say that. I've never met one personally, so maybe they're friendly. But it definitely was something that was interesting, cryptic, and it didn't make sense. It was definitely very tall, and ever since I've seen that, I've heard stories of people talking about something like that, as if it glided through the woods, but without flying. I've heard people talk about that, not these woods, but other woods. And it was definitely like bipedal standing, so if we want to connect it back to the conversation we had earlier about the bipedalness around the barn, it is possible that it is connected. And if that's the case, it means it's been here for a few years. Now, I've been out in the woods by myself many times, but definitely have heard some weird things, like a screech, a scream that makes no sense, like the one that we heard not too long ago. Your phone died.
No.
I got my phone, I'll pull it out here. I'm low battery too. But where it was like a scream that started out as a person and then just went animalistic, and it was like super high, and it wasn't a fox, it wasn't a badger. You know, we studied like animal sounds to see if we could hear like a dying animal, and it didn't make sense. Or like maybe a scared animal or something. And this wasn't like right beside us. This was like on the pasture line where we could hear it. It was very close enough to where it felt dangerous. But you know, they've said that the closest thing we heard was someone was capturing screams in their basement. It sounded like that, and he claimed to be demonic, but not sure. But then a few weeks after that incident, we heard that weird thing. It was like a horse dying.
Yeah.
It was a very, very like, it was like a person scream going into like a very high-pitched rough scream to like a horse yelling. It was very weird, and it kept doing it over and over again until it came to like a horse whinny. And so we're like, maybe we kind of thought of it maybe being a horse. And it sounded like it was literally right beside us. So we took our equipment and went out searching for it, because we didn't want a horse to be dying on our property, because we don't have horses. So we didn't want someone else's horse being caught maybe in barbed wire or something. So we went searching all night until daytime, basically. I won't say all night, but it was like it was about an hour and a half to 2 hours till daylight, and we searched until daylight. And we didn't find it. And then it didn't make a noise when we were out there in the pasture, and as soon as we got back to the house, it made the noise again.
Yeah.
So take that as you will. Those are true experiences that happened.
I don't know what the stuff was, but I know enough to know that I don't want to mess with it.
Yeah. Yeah, don't poke the bear if the bear's not growling.
Yeah.
You know.
And it could be a bear. I mean, we don't have bears.
Yeah, we don't have bears in Ohio, but we, like I said, we did check out
But
to
I'm
see if it
not
was
gonna
like,
test that.
a fox, because we've heard that foxes scream like women and stuff. We've heard, badgers make noises, like just weird animals, and we tried testing the sounds and nothing sounded. Bobcat, that was the other one, and bobcat didn't sound like it. It was close.
Do you remember the bears don't exist thing?
The bears don't exist?
Who the bear denier was.
There's a bear denier?
Yeah. It was someone in our group from back in the days when we,
Like bears don't exist?
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
didn't believe in bears. It might have been me.
It sounds like something you would do.
Because I'm a silly person. But I'm not for sure. And I do, like when I think about it now, I think it sounds ridiculous, and whoever said that was ridiculous.
That sounds like a you thing. I worked in mental health. See,
I'm hearing stuff all over, man.
I hear nothing. You said your hearing's worse than mine.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, a lot of the time, I hear stuff in my head.
See, I'll tell you,
because my hearing's so
if
bad.
you see me start freaking out, that's when you should start freaking out.
Can I grab my phone off your lap?
It's dead.
Okay.
Anyways,
I just want to put it away. Since it's dead.
A Gray Phantom said, if y'all ever in Vegas, hit me up. I'd love to go ghost hunting with you.
Nice. I would
That'd be
love
cool.
to.
I would love to do that. I'd love to go to Vegas, especially to investigate. BB Gaming says he was on TikTok earlier. Welcome. I appreciate, you stopping by. It's really cool. Octavius says, Phantom, I'm sorry, I guess I didn't consider the depression part. That's when they were talking. BB, I want to go to Zach's Haunted Museum. I would like to go there. I've heard a lot of things about it. I would like to check it out for myself. I'd like to meet Zach, see how he is different from Ghost Adventures and
See
in
how long
person.
it takes him before he takes his shirt off?
Yes. I really think I need to start taking that like cue. Like as soon as something freaks me out, I should take my shirt off.
Yeah.
I don't look as good as Zach, but if it gets me the views.
He'll get there.
I'm trying.
You just have to take your shirt off more. It'll push you to...
It gets me pumped up to do it. I'll do that. And just start like getting angry and ripping off my shirt. Just start ripping shirts. That's the thing he does different. He takes them off and he starts ripping them.
Yeah.
But I would like to meet Zach. I would like to go to the museum. I'd like to see, I'd definitely like to go there at nighttime, like maybe out of like touring hours, see if anything pops up or something like maybe activates while you're there. I think it'd be really cool to see. I don't know if that's legal, but I'd love to see that.
I mean, I'd be interested in the museum.
I'd be down. Maybe we can talk to Travel Channel. Let us go.
I don't think Travel Channel can do that.
Yeah. Let's do it. A Gray Phantom. Oh, they're talking to each other. I don't know what you want to be said on the internet, so I won't read your guys' back and forth.
They're saying it on the internet.
You're right.
But
it's to
you
each
might
other.
not want to announce it. Yeah,
it's to each other.
It'll be in the chat replay though.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see. You should go to the demon house. Which demon house?
I don't know.
Because there's a few. We've been to a demonic house. I'm gonna say demonic lightly, because like I said earlier, I feel like if it was a demonic progress, it would have been a lot worse. But if you're talking about Ghost Adventures Demonic House, I think they actually have a video called the Demonic House, the Demon House. I mean,
is that the one? I know Zach Bagans bought one that was supposed to be extremely haunted by a demonic entity, and he had it torn down.
Is that what it was?
Possibly.
He's done that a lot. Like where he's just like stuff's getting really, really out of hand, so he just like gets it out of public view. I'm like, that's when people want to see it. Just put it in containment field and just record the crap out of it. Or if he's as ballsy, if he says he's go in. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, there are negative effects on doing certain things. So if you feel threatened, you shouldn't be forced yourself to do them. However, I know us and we'd probably do it. Mattering what it is, I guess.
There's a god dang Hershey bar.
Oh, yeah.
And it's staring me right in the face.
Hey, don't look at me. It's that willpower. Whenever you see NOS on a kid's diagnosis, it means not otherwise specific. That's basically nothing. Okay, they're still talking. Phantom, I'm really sad. What? That's interesting. Okay. This is a crazy story, by the way, guys. Thank you. Yeah, it's a true story too. The one that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
It definitely spooked us. The bugs in Ohio are the size of bears. I'd say the corn is more dangerous than the bugs here. The corn's creepy here, man. Like, we got corn my whole field's covered in corn. They're about like 6.5 foot tall.
Corn can hurt too. You ever run through a corn?
Yes, it's terrible. You get like those cuts, like those thin cuts, but like it burns, and you get them everywhere.
Yeah, the bugs are bad too, though. Specifically to me, I don't know why.
Yeah, the bugs hate you. They don't
hate
bother me.
Okay, I got here today. I drove here, stepped out of my car, immediately bit by a horsefly. Like, geez, I rarely see horseflies. I come here, step out of my car, and I'm getting bit by them.
Yeah, see, I don't really get bothered by bugs too much. We go into like wooded areas or cemeteries, and it's just like, God, I hate it here. We gotta go because we get bugs. And I'm like, what do you mean? I don't feel anything. I don't see anything. And then you're like, oh. Because like I don't really get affected by bugs. They just don't like me.
They swarm me. They haven't been bad tonight. I think it's
all these citronella and stuff. I gotta put the rest of the fuel on the fire. After that, I guess that's when we'll call it. But let's see. The one that Ghost Ventures did a documentary on. So they did a documentary on. Is that the one they tore down?
I think so.
Okay. If they didn't, I'd love to go. Yeah. Did he have it tore down? I believe so. Yes, I also want to go to the Stanley Hotel at some point. I would love to go to the Stanley Hotel. We have that written down actually to go to at some point.
Yeah.
The grasshoppers in Vegas are showing up in weather radars. Okay, that's crazy.
What?
That's crazy.
Is it like one of those things in Brazil where it rains spiders?
Doesn't
I don't know if you guys heard about that.
Hold, I'm putting fire on the fuel.
Oh,
Dang
okay.
it! Fuel on the fire.
Let's see.
My chair's melting because of the heat. I just felt it go like bend a bit. Let me see that. The flashlight.
Oh, the flashlight.
Yeah. Mine's right there. I just didn't grab it.
Okay, certainly. You can. Wow, there's only 4% left on this battery.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to call it soon.
We're gonna have to like. I feel like we're just gonna go until
The fire goes out, which probably is going to be less than a half hour, maybe a half hour. So that's probably not going to make it. So we're just going to have to talk.
Oh, come on. This is my crutch, dude.
I know, but I know. You got it. You fine.
I can't entertain people if I can't talk directly to them. That's sort of my thing.
What are you going to do if we ever get a bigger audience? You're not going to be able to keep up with that big of an audience.
I'm just going to shut down. No, seriously. I'm going to let you know right now. I plan on,
if we ever get big enough to where we're on a con,
but I'm just going to shut down. I'm not going to say a word.
What are you going to do if we ever go to a con and we actually have an audience? At all? I doubt. We got a ways to go, but if we ever got there, what would you do?
I would stand on stage, but off to the corner, and I don't know. I feel like the easiest thing is to make a fool out of myself.
So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna make some?
Because I'm very insecure.
Insecure joke and then.
Wow, you know what? Things are getting real right now.
I didn't start this.
Let's see. Octavia Firestorm says, I have family that live an hour from Stanley. I'll go one day, and one day soon.
There you go. That'd be really cool. Oh, definitely tell us how it goes. I want to know. I want to see it for myself for sure.
Yeah.
Stanley. There's a lot of places I'd like to go that are either well known or really secluded. I'm a type of person that likes private tours. I like to go with just our group. It's more expensive, but when you get data, it's not corrupt. Because when you go on group tours, big grouping and stuff like that, you can hear voices and it's hard to disclose if it was someone else's from down the hall or yours. But when it's just you guys and you're being quiet and you have multiple recordings of everyone being quiet and you get that voice, we get. It's very cool when we go out as our group, which is just 3 guys, and we get a female's voice. It's really cool to me because it shows that there was no women there, and we picked up a clear woman's voice. I think it's always really cool, or a child's voice, or when we do have women. The last clip we shared on Instagram, we picked up a woman's voice, and it's totally different to the female that was with us at the time. And I thought that was really cool. There's some people that said, it could have been, but, and again, in my perspective, it sounded like a totally different woman's voice. I know that she didn't say that, what we caught and stuff, and I found it really interesting. I don't know, it's just an adrenaline feeling when you find those kind of things.
Yeah. I mean,
I forget why I even started that conversation.
me too. Because Octavia said she's going to go to the Stanley. And
oh yeah, and I just went off.
yeah, I don't know what.
Let's go to the Stanley.
I'm interested in going to the Stanley.
Oh,
I think
because
the
our
Stanley,
private.
The Stanley's
sport.
awesome.
That's why I said that.
Oh.
Yeah, go on.
I think the Stanley Hotel is awesome. It's inspired Stephen King to write The Shining.
Yeah.
I would also like to go to the hotel that stood in as the Overlook Hotel in the movie The Shining. I can't think of what it's called, but I think that's a beautiful hotel, and I'd love to go there.
Same.
It's different reasons. It's not like haunted reasons, but I think it looks amazing,
I mean,
and it has film history.
Yeah, I think there's a good value in trying to go to a place so it doesn't have to be haunted. Actually, usually in my experience, the places that are claimed to be the most haunted, we actually get less evidence than if we go to places that we don't even realize they're haunted. We know they're haunted enough to go to them, but they're not worldly known. You know what I mean?
BB Gaming said, "I just watched the end of the Demon House. He did tear it down. That is a shame. I would want to go there." Venom Wolf.
Hey, Venom.
What's up, Zodiac's crew?
How you doing, Venom?
What's good, Venom?
Sorry, we've been
It's been a
really
while.
busy lately, but it's cool that...
As you can see, we set up everything and... all right.
Yeah, dude. How have you been? I've heard that you've been going and finding more ghost stuff and found some stuff about your house. It's really cool. I've been trying to keep up with you on everything and stuff. It's, like I said, it's been busy, but that's cool, man. That's actually cool that you showed up.
Venom Wolf actually helped us set up our investigation of the church. So, I don't know if you guys have seen that video, but Venom Wolf actually helped us set that up.
Yeah, it's one of our first videos we put up on YouTube. If you want to check it out, he's on there. It's the haunted abandoned church. I think I don't know. It's one with Ghost Cat.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. I would check that out if you get a chance. You'll see him on there. And go support his channel. He's really been supportive of us. So definitely go support him if you can.
So, Venom Wolf said he's doing good. Just celebrated his 24th birthday yesterday.
Nice, man.
Really, happy birthday.
I'm sorry, it didn't pop up on my my Facebook. So happy birthday, man. We'll say it on the live stream. Happy birthday, Venom
Happy
Wolf.
birthday.
You're a Leo like me.
Leos are super annoying.
Look.
I'm kidding.
Just
I'm
because
kidding.
I talk a lot and ramble and outgoing,
Leave it.
narcissistic,
I said it was a joke.
egotistical. Mr. I'm emotional over there. No, I'm just kidding. Cancer.
Octavia Firestorm also said happy late birthday to Venom Wolf. And she asked us, who inspired you guys to be paranormal hunters?
You go first.
I'm not sure that... Well, I think it would have to be Taps. It would be the show Ghost Hunters. They're the ones who kind of taught me that it was a thing. But it was my experiences as a child really got me into wanting to see what was out there. But I think watching Ghost Hunters and seeing Taps do what they did is probably what inspired me to become a paranormal investigator, because I didn't really know where it was before that.
I'm close to that. As I've said before, I kind of grew up in a haunted experience. My mother grew up with a lot of haunted experiences, and when I was a child, I used to be really young. I used to be scared of the dark. So my mom used to tell me ghost stories and tell me to basically told me not to be afraid of ghosts and stuff. And when I was I don't know, 7 or 8, I was they're ghosts. And by the time I was 12, or I'd say 10 to 12, I started really diving into trying to talk to them, and I figured out there had to be a way to talk to them and stuff. And I tried multiple things. I tried, I didn't know taps was really a thing at the time. We didn't have much cable, so I tried anything, to talk to them, to try and communicate with them, and then I started, like I thought, okay, well if I, wonder if they're talking and I'm just like talking over them or something. So I started recording, and it didn't really work because I had this like a flip phone. But by the time taps came out, taps was out. By the time I found out about taps, it pushed me harder. So I'd say I was kind of my livelihood kind of turned me into a paranormal investigator. But when taps came out, it jumped me up and I stuck with that until I was about 16, when I started going like into like deeper stuff and learning about the things and researching about the things and trying to figure out more rather than just finding things. So I'd go with, if I had to say like what influenced me, I would say either my mother or taps. I would say, because taps was really like, I would watch after I figure out it was a thing, I'd watch them all the time just to learn and be at all about their locations they've been to and want to understand it.
Honestly, I find it infinitely entertaining. Okay, probably not infinitely. There's only so many hours that you can watch, but...
Oh, you mean just taps? I thought you meant like paranormal in general. Yeah, I could be very entertained, but like just taps.
Yeah.
Taps grows... It's like Ghost Adventures. You can watch it for a while, but then things... Not repeat, because it's very unrepetitive. It's, you grow numb to the sensation, I
love
guess.
the early seasons when they had Brian on the show, because he was scared so easily. He'd freak out, run down the hall, jump around. I mean...
See, that's why we need Nick here. I feel like he'd be scared.
I'm talking
all the
with
time.
my hands. I feel like I'm some kind of puppet.
That's what you gotta do when you're on TV. It's a presence.
Herble gerble girdle. Let's see. Octavia said, "Happy late birthday, Venom." She said, "Oh, that's cool." Venom said, "Thanks, y'all." He also said, "Speaking of ghost hunters, they're bringing it back on A&E." They are. It's Grant from Ghost Hunters. It's not the rest of Taps. It's another team. However, I believe Taps is coming back. Jason and I can't think of their other names, but I think Jason and the rest of the Taps team are coming back with a different show that's not Ghost Hunters. Grant is coming back with a different team that is Ghost Hunters.
On A&E. Yeah, I think you're right. I haven't really kept up with it, but I think you're right. I'm excited to check them out. I want to see how they've diversed from like the Together group Taps and stuff, and see how they've changed. I wasn't really into the not international Taps when they started like getting like like the newbies and stuff, and they started like doing that whole show where it was like Taps, like a reality show.
Academy?
Yeah, like I wasn't really into that as much.
Yeah.
So after that happened, I kind of dove off the Taps train, but I'm really interested in seeing how they come back and how good it is. I've not really watched. Is it AME? Or A&E?
A&E.
I don't think I've really watched much of A&E.
A&E.
Watch a lot of A&E.
We have 2% left on this.
Okay. Well, I figure we can still talk afterwards, so just read what you can.
Octavia Firestorm says, "Thanks for sharing that. It's sort of the same for me." Venom Wolf. Taps is how I got into ghost hunting, but the Smyrna Cemetery that Cody did way back, which got me more interested in ghost hunting. So far, not much has happened at Smyrna Cemetery since they redid it.
Mm-hmm.
I am reading like a robot. Or like...
That's because we're getting tired. We've been doing this for a while. But like, I know I appreciate that. You're actually one of my first like that was with Broken Admin when you started popping by, Venom, and you've helped me ever since, and I really appreciate that. I'd like to go back to Smyrna one day, like do it all night there. I don't think we're gonna get as much as we used to. There was always screams and like an eerie like fog, and when I go eerie fog, I mean like the fog would appear in the middle of like the main stone there, and it was really creepy and really cool. There would be a lot of like movement, and people would see like a ghost dog. There's a lot of stories based off on it, especially with Sweet Lips, the whole story with that, which I go over on Broken Admin. And I'd love to go back there one day, and I really appreciate that you've stuck with it, Venom, with Smyrna. It's really cool that you've done that, and I'm glad, and I appreciate you keeping me up to date with it. I think it's really cool. Definitely want to go back there. You know, it probably won't be for a while because we've got a lot planned, but I definitely want to go back there one day. That's really cool. It's really cool that I helped with that a little bit. Susie, I still wonder if my uncle died this April. I'm sorry to hear that. If he's still here with me. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I got the umbrella stuck in my pants.
How did you?
You can say it.
No. I want to go to this touching comment that was posted. You know, it is very possible. It is to be have your uncle still with you, and you know you can always test things out. You know, you know your uncle probably more than most. So what you could, not trying to assume, but like what you can do is you can try and maybe talk to your uncle. Maybe like the way I always say, if you want to try and connect with a family member, you're not gonna be able to unlock that without the password. Did you? Oh. Basically, what I'm getting at is, give them if you want to try and get answers. Don't give them the answers. You know, lead the questions to where maybe you would know that they would know, and go from there. But in my theory, I would say, you know, a loved one is always connected to us somehow. So in some way, I believe a part of them stay with everyone they cared about. So maybe you won't be able to speak with them. Maybe you won't be able to communicate with them. But I think there's still something here that connects them to us. That they're still here. Maybe not in the full form, maybe not in the way we could communicate with them, but I don't know. Love is a powerful, you know, emotion. It travels major distances. So I think that there is a way that they can still connect with us all. What are you doing? Did I do well?
Sure, that's up to her to decide.
I know, but like, you made me feel insecure. I'm thinking of something. Is that why you handed me the phone?
Yes, that's exactly what I
I'm thinking of something I'd like to call gray law. It goes, never attribute to the ghost what can equally be attributed to leprechauns. Go for it. Venom Wolf, welcome, man. Venom Wolf again. When me and my friends went there a few months ago, they messed with a prank on a friend of ours and made them reconsider their idea. I get that. Hey Cody, I'm visiting with my mom and she keeps seeing a shadow behind you, all like they're watching you, all, and it's not the reflection from the flares, because I keep seeing as well. It's very possible. Like I stated earlier, there was the story we told earlier with the cryptid moving was straight back here past the pasture on the other side of the fence. So it is possible.
There's there's cows back there too.
Oh, there are cows back there possibly as well. I'm not hearing them, but they could be back
I'm
there.
not sure that you'd see the cows because those things are.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't be able to see them. But it is possible. It is. Like I said, there's actually, it was funny. One year, I was dating this girl, and we were back here, and I kept telling her how, because we would have situations where we'd be talking, and the fire just go out. Like, it would be like this, and just go out, and then we'd hear noises going crazy and stuff, and it might be connected to that thing. But it was funny, because, like, we heard noises getting closer and closer to us. I'm like, the fire's about to go out. It's getting near. She'd be like, stop, you're scaring me, like trying to like brush it off. She's like, it's not real. You're dumb. It doesn't exist. You're stupid. I'm like, the fire's about to go out. And the thing got closer and closer to like right up on us, and the fire just completely, and she freaked out. She's like, we're done. We gotta go inside. Like, and that might happen today. I kind of hope not, because I've been liking the fire and I spent a lot of money on the wood, so it's been nice to burn it all. But if that happens, it could be connected to the shadow. It could be connected to the thing that's out there. I don't know.
This flame is so hot. I'm literally using this umbrella to shield myself from
My
the heat.
back is burning. Between the two trees, what two trees do you see? It's funny the way this video footage is, because I have it's set back like 2 minutes. You just walked up in the frame. Okay, I think you're talking about the two trees behind us.
Well, what trees are in frame?
Those. It's hard to tell what trees are in frame. It might be the trees behind me, because when I get off the frame. I'm guessing those two trees.
This tree over here, and I guess the one directly behind you.
Okay.
But you can only really see the leaves in this one.
Okay. So that could make sense. It's possible. That's why we're also on this side of the flame. In the middle of the chair, straight back. So those two trees. So I guess the opening.
I guess the post in the tree, maybe. I'm blocking sound.
I got vertigo because I was thinking that all of the, like, I'm not used to pointing this way when we're by the fire pit. So like my body's like, where am I? Don't blind Cody. Don't blind Cody because he kept shining me in the face.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, you're good. You look tired too. Like I said, we'll wait till the fire's dead and we'll call it a night. Trying to think, there's a lot I wanted to talk about tonight in my brain.
I'm just so tired.
No.
I have a child with a sickness right now that's called pneumonia. Pneumonia. And so I was up all night last night with him. His mother's got to stay up with him tonight.
Okay.
But I was up all night with him last night. And so I was already pretty tired coming in. Now I'm about to yawn.
It's alright, we'll call it soon. They said we don't see it anymore. So, I don't know. Cool. What are you doing?
I don't want to yawn on camera.
Oh, well, just make them yawn. The ones in Vegas, that's like 3 to 4 hours difference. It's still like early for them. Yeah, we didn't really want this to be super late. We ended up having a lot of technical issues. As we mentioned earlier, I guess this is for the later audience. So basically, we had it set to where we were going to start at 8:30. Well, we had to go out and get an aux cable for that microphone there. So that took us time because we had to go to the farther location, and then we had to come back. And by that point, it was 9 o'clock, and we did a live stream on TikTok and a live stream on Instagram. And we were like, okay, let's start in a half hour. Well, we already had this all set up, but then we hit record, and the live stream would start, but it wouldn't show up on YouTube. So we had to go in, fix the settings, try it again, go in, fix the settings until the point where we finally got it. Like I said, it's our first time doing it like this, and we plan on doing it more with more, like, a lot different kind of scenarios and more equipment and stuff. It's a start process to us getting more locations to do this.
I can't stay by this fire any longer. I have to move.
Okay.
Sorry if I'm off screen for a while.
Well, you just stand by the mic so that way they can hear you. Like, stand over there.
I'm not certain they will hear me.
I don't know. They'll hear you more than if you're over there, I'd assume. Unless you want to go, like, right here.
No, that's still by the fire.
Hey, I'm just surprised I kept the fire going for 4 hours. 3 hours, 4 hours. Like, that was good price in wood.
Who wants to know?
Let's see. I hope the best for your child, says, Musaw? I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong.
Thank you.
I don't know if you can hear him. He said thank you. Octavia said, oh, I'm sorry, that really sucks. Hope he feels better. Venom said the same thing.
Thank you all. Thank you all very much. He's on antibiotics and he's on the mend, so He's getting better. But I appreciate that, everyone. Thank you very much.
I think if they can't hear, if you are back there, and I think they can hear you a little bit, because I'm trying to remember when we used that mic before. So the mic we're using right now is very directional because it's really loud out here. So we tried to like keep it on us. But he said thank you everyone, and that the kid's on antibiotics, and he really appreciates that. If you couldn't hear him, but yeah, I like that mic though. But yeah, I hope he feels better too. Ammonia sucks. So it's good that he's on antibiotics.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Don't catch it. I don't know. There is, you know what? I think this would be a good time to kind of talk about what we're planning a little bit. So it's coming to the mid of summer and closer to the end of it, and we wanted to go on more outdoor locations during the summer. Problem is that between like having stuff that was planned in the cold and stuff and trying to hit it all, it's been very and with all the projects we've got in front of us, it's been very difficult to hit all the locations while it's summer. So we're gonna try and do what we can with that. We want to entertain you guys and bring you guys data and help you guys, I guess, stay entertained. We want to do our best to keep everyone happy, to give you what you guys ask for. We do plan on making some informational videos as well to help teach how to use like some of the equipment, maybe go over some of the equipment we have, because a lot of people are skeptic about what equipment to use and if it's worth using and stuff. And we've been through a lot of equipment, especially through cameras, and we want to help people with that decision, or like at least give them our input on what we've used and maybe help them on their choices. And we plan on doing that soon. When winter comes, we're going to try and go more indoor locations. We're trying to branch out even farther. We haven't done a lot of northern Ohio, but we want to go in more states and stuff like that. We want to try and hit you alright? Yeah. Oh, we want to try and hit, like, we've been to Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia. We want to hit more in Pennsylvania. I've been to Pennsylvania, and investigated, but not recorded it. We want to branch out like farther and farther and kind of experience new things, because we've learned that my phone died. We learned with every state that there's just something different in each one that just stands out. We enjoy those kind of situations. We enjoy learning. We're history nuts too. I'm actually a historian of my local city. They're behind me. Where's the anti-YouTube thing? Is that over there? Cool. I'll dive if like something's about to kill me. I want it to be cool on video, so maybe I'll dive for it last minute and turn and maybe take my last second. Oh, now they're over there. We're surrounded behind us right now. Alright, we're fine. If it kills me, it's live.
Alright, it's cool that you're fine with
that. But yeah, so our phone just died, so we're probably gonna end this soon. But we will probably keep up with comments on the computer here in a minute, so don't stop commenting. But we are planning on doing a lot. We're big history nuts, so we're trying to like find ways to connect history with entertaining as well. So we're trying to like connect the paranormal with that more so. We are wanting to. We don't have a huge reach, but we're getting a bigger reach, so we want to try and support local areas, so like places with history and like hauntings. We want to try and do this more to kind of support those areas, and we're really looking forward to seeing what can come out of it. We want to spread the know-how of the history of these areas and of the paranormal. Is there anything that you see? Do you need help with it? It is. Huh? I'm not sure either. I see bats. We got bats flying over us. It's pretty cool. Huh? Yeah, no, it's not. No, it's not chambered. No, I don't chamber a gun unless I'm about to shoot it. I'm only going to shoot it when I take the shot. I didn't say what it was. I could have been a camera. It could have been a camera. It wasn't a camera. Oh, did I say that? It's been 4 hours almost. I feel like if the monetization... We're not getting monetized anyways. Age gate. Yeah, we're gonna be screwed now. No one's gonna watch our content. So I'm making fun of Roger. You can't really hear him, and I apologize. But he's keeping an eye on the camera right now to see your comments and such. You guys are talking about the shadow and stuff. Dang it. Oh well. Thank you, Grey Phantom. I did not mean to. I said shun. Shun. Look, it's tiring. It's hot. It's already humid here. But I did it for the content, to be in front of this fire. I've enjoyed it, honestly. It's been a really nice night. It's been raining a lot recently, so I think like the nice weather and stuff like that. I refrain from taking my shirt off, so it's another good reason to be monetized. I keep looking at the mic like it's the camera. God, there's so much that we were going to talk about, and I forgot now. Let's think of one more good ghost story for the night. Do you have one that you want to talk about in particular? Trying to think of one that we might have not recorded or talked about before. Don't freak out. If they get close, we'll react. Trust yourself. We've gone against more scarier things than this, and came out just fine. I'll continue. I'll have fireside ghost stories. I promised ghost stories, and I never really got to do them, so. Let's see. Alright, thank you, Octavia. Sorry it's coming late. Appreciate it, though. Thank you for staying by and talking with us. It was really cool, and thank you for the comments and stuff, and we hope you kept you entertained. I guess I'll say one of my best thrills when a few years back when Zodiacs first started. I kind of talked about this a little bit in our videos that we talked about best experiences or worst scariest experiences. But when Zodiacs first started, before we got on video and stuff like that, we were just helping people. This was, I think, after the Pete's investigation. I know Snyder was there. He wasn't yet. We investigated a house that was known to have a lot of spiritual activity. You could see things moving throughout the house when no one was in it. You walk in and you just get this dreadful feeling of just a mixture of sadness and anger. But when people were home, like the residents were home, it was fine. It felt normal. But when no one was home, you just had this dreadful feeling of fear, anger, sadness. And it felt like it was coming from all over, and the emotions felt like they were just everywhere. It felt like a real, just a lot of trapped spirits, I guess. And there were known things about this area, like books being thrown, things moving, slamming of doors, just a lot of that average stuff. But it was very poltergeisty. I guess why I'm hesitant is because it was probably one of the most dreadful feelings I've ever felt. And when we went in to this area, we went in just thinking it was going to be a normal, not normal ghost hunt, but like just prepared ghost hunt, I guess. And when we first got in there, Snyder instantly got affected. He started feeling like there was this thing just draining him instantly, and then we all started to feel it a bit. Like, when I say drained, I mean you just feel like your energy is just depleting. And our EMF went crazy. We didn't record this. We have EMF somewhere, or EVP about it somewhere, but it's like been a couple years now. We didn't have the equipment then to record it, really, like video record it. And it was a case to go clear out this area of negative energy. Went in and it started talking to us. And this was when I first started using dowsing rods. And if people don't know what dowsing rods are, they're the straight post things that are like made of copper, and they're like loose where the grips are, so that way they can move freely. And they're used to find oil and water, but you can use them to find ghosts too, or energy apparently. And I didn't really believe in it when I first started using it, but when I was there, it was just crossing and going crazy, and I'm like, okay, I'm holding still. What does this mean? And I'm like, will you show me where this spirit is? And then it just went straight and started turning, and I'd follow it, and Snyder would follow me with the EMF, and every time it would cross, the EMF would go red until it would uncross, and then it would go back. And we did that, following it around the area constantly, testing it, and it kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it. And then like, this was one of the cases where the books went flying off the shelf. The books went flying off the shelf. Not as crazy as like the first few times it happened, like, because I've been there prior, just like talk to things, but enough to us get our attention to move away from this thing. And this felt like a totally different spirit by this point. Because when we went over, it was like a different feeling. That one was like scared, because I guess we were chasing it. This one felt like manipulative, I guess. It brought us over there, and the light would start, like, there was like a mini chandelier kind of situation, and it would sway, and like very little, you know, and it kind of like at first I'm like, is it our eyes, you know, and it would dim and stuff. I'm like, is, you know, what's going on? And we're like, okay, whatever. So it pulled us away from this one. We took a break, we went out, you know, kind of got some fresh air, and came back in and tested it again. And Snyder goes over to one of the hotspot areas, which there's a hallway and a door at the end of the hallway. And he put his hands on the door. And next thing I know, he's just standing right beside us at the table, just blankly staring. And I just took his Snyder just in deep thought. About 10 minutes passed, and we finally concluded that this light isn't enough information for us to go off of. And Snyder looks at us and says, okay, so what are we doing? Like, are we starting now or what? You know, like, we've been talking to this table for a while now. What are you talking about? And he explained how he just remembered walking in and that's it. And we were like, Snyder, you've been standing here for a while. What's wrong? And he's like, I don't remember anything. I remember walking in the door and that's it. Like, and to this day, he will tell you that he doesn't remember anything from going and touching the door and walking over there and just staring. And it creeped us and it worried us, you know. So we pulled him aside away from the table and started asking him, you know, like, what's going on? What's wrong? And he's like, I don't feel myself. And we kind of like did like anything we could, you know, from a prayer to like, you know, try and help him. And like his hand was like clenched. He's like, and he was holding a religious coin, and it wouldn't let go. And he's like, it hurts. Like, I want to let it go, but I can't. What are you doing? What?
There's some sort of light flashing on you.
Really? It's that.
What?
Is it that?
I don't think so.
Really?
I was just checking to see if maybe the battery was dying on there.
Oh, it's plugged in.
And that might have just, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's plugged in.
Lisa says, cool thing that you got videos up already. I'm watching a couple in a bit.
Thank you. Awesome. Appreciate that, you Saul. I hope you enjoy those videos.
Also, this says we have zero views. I'm not sure how accurate that is.
I don't know. I'll finish this story and then we'll go on. So, anyways, we go and he was freaking out. And he's holding a religious symbol, and we asked him, can you let it go? We asked him to stop. And our bigger friend there at the time, he's lost a lot of weight since then, but he was probably taller than Roger, bigger than Roger at the time. He stepped back and he said, if you're here, stop picking on him and come and fight me, pussy. You can't do anything. You're just picking on him, and I'm not gonna stand for that. Show yourself. You won't. And all of a sudden, between all of us, and we all saw it, a black figure appear in between all of us, and just you saw this movement step back and forcibly push him, and it was just enough. It wasn't enough of to see detail, but it was enough to see a movement go back and push forward. And he went flying back 5 feet or so and landed on his feet, which was impressive, and the thing disappeared. And it blew my mind a bit, definitely. So we took that as our answer. We did a little bit more investigating, but that was definitely our answer. We went and we cleansed out the area, and what was interesting is we cleanse out, when you cleanse out, you're basically focusing on the negative energies, and we did our cleansing, and if I can find the recording, I'll put it up sometime. You can hear me doing my, my cleansing, my exorcism of the house. And you can hear during the whole investigation, you can hear static and just white noise constantly. And I don't mean white, I mean as if the EVP is just being swallowed by white noise. The whole time it's going on until you can hear me do my cleansing. And as I'm finishing it, you hear these really weird screams or yells. And it just fades off into nothing. And then there's no white noise.
Oh, sorry. Venimal says that the video is froze and lagging, but we still have audio. A Ray Phantom said that he's pointing at the transparent triangle. The shadow is the triangle for the text.
Oh. Oh, okay. All right, well, I guess we're going to end it then. It's come to that time, so why don't you come over here and end it with me? We'll read any more chat if there is any. I don't know. It's because I was telling your ghost story. Literally, that happens with everything I do. Anytime something is really cool, ghosty, and there's actually a lot of a lot of emotion in it and stuff, it seems that our equipment fails. Ghost. It's a joke.
Oh no, I know, it's funny. Sorry.
No, it's funny. Good job.
I was
Good
concerned
joke.
that I flashed this piece.
Oh, I know. I saw.
I've got mad trigger discipline now.
Curious movement out in the woods. Opens up. There's a noise. Is there anything you would like to say before this night ends?
No, I just want to say thank you all for joining us, and I love having conversations with you guys, and I got nothing but love for all of y'all. I don't love you, we barely know each other, so I don't
Is that it?
yeah, it's
We think you're lovely, and we
you as a human.
appreciate you guys coming here. We absolutely love the fact that you're here, and we appreciate you all who stopped by and who've watched us even in post. If you stayed this long, we really appreciate it. We love you guys so much for coming by. It means a lot to us. It gives us that courage to keep on going. It's really hard to keep up the grind, but we're doing it for you guys, and we're trying our best. We do this because of you guys, entertainment-wise, paranormal-wise. I mean, it is a lot of work, and every time we see someone enjoy it, it means a lot to us. It really does.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy you guys stopped by. I got really tired really fast by this heat, so I'm sorry if my energy levels dropped, but it really means a lot to me, and everyone is the Zodiacs. We truly appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm sure it means a lot to James too. James couldn't be here with us tonight.
He had a wedding.
Yeah,
Not his,
it's
just another.
unfortunate. We lost another.
Yeah. We'll try and get him into the next one. You know, I think it'll be really cool. I think we should do more of these. We probably won't have these scheduled like monthly or anything like that, but we might do more down the road now that we have the equipment. I want to do more. I'll say it like that. I want to do more. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I would love to do more. No, there's nothing else I would like to say.
I will say this.
Onomatopoeia. Sorry, I wanted to say onomatopoeia.
I will say this. You know, I don't mean to keep pushing it, but I just want to let you guys know that any donations you guys give to us will go straight to funding and for trips and equipment. So that is Streamlabs / Zodiac Supernatural Investigators. I would like to put it in the description, but it didn't work. So it's in the chat box somewhere, but it is just Streamlabs, one word, / Zodiac Supernatural Investigators. Also, we do have a Patreon. Just look up Zodiac Supernatural. Every cent goes back to Zodiac Supernatural. It does not go to me. It does not go to Roger. It goes back to the equipment and funding. So anything helps. We are trying to get better cameras and better night vision. And in the end, us getting that will help us be able to give you more data and try and help show our locations off and keep you entertained.
Yeah.
So,
but we love you just as much, even if you're as broke as me.
Exactly. I honestly, just you guys watching made my day.
Yeah.
I truly appreciated the fact that you all came here and talked with us.
I had a lot of fun.
I did too. It was a longer one than I expected, and I enjoyed every second of it.
It's so hot.
Don't complain, we're almost done.
Well, I'm going to go on and say goodbye. Bye, guys. Thanks for viewing. Now I'm going to go over to the computer. So after you say goodbye, I'm going to read whatever last comments there were, and you can address those. And then
All right. Get out of here. Get out of here. Don't trip on the cord. He's going to read the comments. Anything else that's left. Who said that? Ah, thank you, Great Python. I'll try. We should go leprechaun hunting one day. Agreed. Is that Venom? Really? Wow. Awesome. Thank you, Great Python. Why'd you say Python? Thank you, a Gray Phantom. You've been here for the whole stream, and you talked to us and kept us entertained. He kept saying Python. That's his fault, not mine. It's that Kentucky learning. Thank you, a Gray Phantom. I almost said a Great Python like you did. Thank you. Thank you, Venom Wolf. Thank you, everybody who stopped by. We really appreciate it. Please, stick around, hit that bell for the next time we do another live stream. We'll be putting out videos again starting next week, most likely. And we'll try and keep up with our social media, so stick around with those. We really do appreciate all that you've done for us, and we hope to see you again, especially in a setting like this. Maybe it'll be different, maybe it'll be the same, who knows? Well, we will see you all next time. Thank you again for everything. Watching, commenting, subscribing, all of that. Thank you, and we'll see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.